Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you the post-match reaction, win or learn, for today's disaster 3-0 loss to Chelsea in the London Derby. It's a hard one to take, but look, we're all Spurs fans, and we'll all hang in here together, guys. We'll all hang in here together. A bit of therapy. This is all it is. It's a bit of late-night therapy, guys. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, as always. Get your thoughts in on today's game. We will get them up. As you know, at the very start, we will discuss them. If it does hot up at any stage, not saying it will, but if it does, feel free to get in a super chat and jump the queue. And, it's a great way to support myself and Jack as well. But look, Jack, how are you, my man? Stupid question, I know, but how are you?
Trying to hold it all together here, Dave. And honestly, maybe shows like these actually maybe do give me a bit of that clarity, a bit of that resolve. Like you even said, Dave, therapy, I'd probably say win or learn. We took it from Brian C. originally. And I do think even at the darkest of moments kind of like this, or the saddest of moments like this, it's still a very good motto to live by, the win or learn. So we're going to try our best, to try to not really take any positives maybe away from this day, but we're just going to try to maybe resolve to a degree maybe what went wrong today, maybe how the selection went wrong, just things, just to try to clear it all up for us to know that maybe this is how we can fix our Spurs. And we're not going to fix our Spurs in one night. I'll tell you that. It's going to take many, many more nights than that. But I would say, Dave, it's, like you said, a bit of that therapy, a bit of that resolve for us.
Do you know what, though, Jack? Today it really set in. We're in for a long, long, hard season. It's going to be another long slog. I didn't want another long slog this season. I wanted to believe, that we've done enough, just enough in the transfer window to scrape by and do enough to kind of get back, up into the top 6 of the table and whatever else. But today, reality set in that it's going to be a long, long slog. Look, there's still lessons there we need to learn from last season in terms of we're still only seeing kind of like a performance in one half. That's still concerning. And look, things just seem to be mounting up. But what I do want to say to Spurs fans out there is, I know today is tough, but look, this is what we represent right here. Well, we are going into a North London Derby week. We have tonight to, cry, get disappointed, whatever else. But when we wake up tomorrow, we have to dust ourselves down and just for the next week, just not give Arsenal fans any room to breathe. And then after that, then we can go back to everything. But please, just for 1 week, I'm sick of seeing them come into
Even that brought a smile to my face, Dave. Even that brought a smile to my face. You could say that again, Dave. You could say that again. Today is the day to sulk, everybody. Believe me, if you're pissed, if you're absolutely livid, or if you're just, like David was saying, even just crying on the couch, saying to the missus, get away from me, you don't want to see me like this. I would say absolutely, feel those emotions, Dave. Feel those emotions, because those are real emotions that you should actually express. But I would say maybe like David said, coming Monday, just wipe it all clean, put on that big face, get ready for your Arsenal banter, get ready for your scum banter, get ready for the Cone manager, kind of a jabs and whatnot, because honestly, we can't be shown these kind of, sad faces to the Arsenal scum. They'd absolutely take advantage of it, Dave.
Oh, no, honestly, they'd eat it up, Jack. Their mothers would be in the kitchen cooking it, serving it up to them, and they'd be asking for seconds. It'd be like Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? We do not want to give them any of that going into this North London Derby. I know today hurts, but now's today. Today is the time to take it on the chest, and tomorrow, just go with it. Just for 1 week, let's not give them any room to breathe. But look, let's see what members of the Harris Army we have in with us, Jack. Mm-hmm. We have Harvey THFC says, in Nuno we trust. Big up, Harvey. Tottenham Tantrum, very disappointing and fed up with this team. We need to find solutions very quickly or we end up writing this season off. Great watch along too, lads. Really enjoyed it. Nuno, I slightly trust. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army.
I kind of like that, Dave. I will say, we've been saying in Nuno we trust. We've probably been, maybe in Nuno's, at least in terms of, stats and figures, we've been his biggest fans. Sorry, yeah, Dave, go on.
No, I'm just going to say, just while you're saying that, no, look, I'm going to do that for every manager. No matter what manager walks in this store, unless it's Ryan Mason, because that's a joke, I will do that for every manager in what manager we trust, because I will always give them a bit of time. But sorry, Jack, proceed.
I was just saying it's kind of a bit of humor maybe just going after this, because we have actually raised a lot of questions towards Nuno even after this one. When we thought he even got the lineup right, we still have a bit of questions, so I will say that one actually brought a bit of a chuckle to my face, Dermot. Now after this, maybe in Nuno, I still trust, but only slightly less, I would say. So yeah, slightly trust maybe with Nuno, but we'll dive into it, Dermot. But I actually love that. It brought a smile to my face.
No, we will. Look, everybody, go and get your goggles, go and get the snorkel and the flippers. We're going deep sea diving, baby. We're diving into it in about 5 more minutes. I just need you, the Harris Army, to cheer me up a little bit. But Dermot, I couldn't agree more. Look, we need to find solutions, and very, very quickly. And yeah, look, I appreciate you joining in on the watch along, my man, and everyone else. It doesn't go unnoticed. Look, we're not doing it to, for anything professional. Look, me and Jack just watch the games anyway, so we said, why not? If there is any Harris Army members out there who maybe want to watch the games with us and have someone to join in with, well, we just put them on for that. And look, I'm glad you enjoy it, Dermot. And yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. It's a big week this week. We have Wolves in the Cup. We go out with that, and we have the North London Derby. If we don't save face there, I don't know. It is getting time to start questioning, I believe. And look, I know people might say it's because you're angry. There's an element of that, but there is other stuff that is concerning, and I'm sure we'll get into it. Look, I'm just going to say, look, does he know his best 11? But then again, I ask myself, how is he supposed to with everything that's gone on? So it's a tough place to be in.
Great comment, Dermot. Great comment.
Yeah, brilliant comment, Dermot. Cody Mack says, you could easily make the argument that we should have 0 goals in the Premier League this season. That is very, very worrying. No, look, when there's a penalty, Cody, I was going
to say, Cody, at the end of the day, the penalty was a penalty. At the end of the day, Sonny did score against Man City. At the end of the day, Sonny did score that free kick, against, Cody, I agree with you. We haven't created enough, but the goals that we did score did go in the back of the net. So, I'm quite confused by that. But do maybe explain later.
No, look, I'm sure Cody will. Cody be on the keyboard right now, Jack. Trust me.
I'd be happy to know what he means, but they did go in the back of the net. So,
but of course, Cody did get to keep his beard today, Jack. He got to keep the beard. I'm sure his missus is happy.
I'm shaving mine, Dave, actually, and that's more have to do with maybe selfish reasons. Just to clear up the skin a little bit. I just figure, now that the summer is gone, I kind of made the beard a bit redder, a bit blonder, and everything. So it's time to maybe shave it all off. So, Cody. You get to grow yours longer. My microscopic beard in comparison is now going to go.
No, there you are. You're inspiring, Jack, Cody. You're inspiring men out here. Aaron Dove says, I know people say I'm overcritical of Ndombele, but I think he is useless, and I always did. Today just reinforced that in my view. Yeah, look, Aaron, that's one I'm sure we'll get into. I'm sure Jack strongly disagrees.
Very much too, Aaron.
I'm a bit somewhere in the middle, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest, I have splinters on my ass. I'm a bit 50-50 on this one. Probably a bit 60-40, a bit 60 towards you, but I can see where Jack's coming from as well, Aaron. Yeah, look, we'll get into it. I have thoughts on him as well. Jim Bob Jones, big up, says, as painful as today's second half was, we unsettled the best team in Europe for 45 minutes and looked good in possession. I'm more positive after that game than I was before. Now, that is a positive outlook, Jim Bob Jones. Very, very positive. Look, by the name, you just seem like a very positive man anyway. And, yeah, look, do you know what it is? There's definitely a lot to get excited about from the first half, but then the same old problems creep in the second half. And, look, it's a big week for this squad, and it's a big week for Nuno with Wolves and Arsenal coming up. It's a massive week. Let's not get that. Let's not understate that whatsoever. It's a huge week. It could easily go very, very wrong, or it could go very, very right. It's one of them weeks, and it's a critical week in my opinion. But big up Jim Bob Jones. Who else have we got here in the building? We have Big Old Soul 53. Big up, and I am hashtag Team Kane. But Harry, get in the box and stay there, lad. Gill should have come on in the second half for the Celso. Yeah. Look, I don't know what's going on with Harry Kane at the minute. Look, that's another subject we will get into. Old Soul, 100%. And look, as in Gill should have come on in the second half for the Celso. Look, one of them Gill should have probably came on, or even Skip should have came on for either Lo Celso or Dele Alli after we went 1-0 down, to be honest with you, in my opinion. As soon as we went 1-0 down, that's when the substitution should have been made. Big up also. D-Trex Kane says, I'm done with this team. Honestly, if I was Paratici, I would decide this winter if I sell Kane or sack Nuno, because clearly the system doesn't work with Kane. Well, Jack, what would you say to D-Trex? And big up D-Trex.
D-Trex, I think Paratici has a lot of things going through his mind right now. It actually might even be that question right there, D-Trex. He might be actually considering, I would say selling Harry Kane in the January transfer window would be honestly unbelievable, because considering the last summer window was already a lot bigger, already a lot more spending than most people even imagined it would be, considering it was supposed to be a pandemic market. If Harry Kane went in the January transfer window, I would say in terms of the whole season of transfers, that would be an unbelievable transfer window. Matty Hayes, Fabrizio Romano, they would all be, in a way, way, way too busy if that were to happen in the summer or in the January window. So it is something that probably Paratici is considering, though. At the end of the day, he is definitely thinking, is it maybe Harry Kane? Is he maybe downing tools? Is it maybe somebody that they should have sold on and just took whatever price was given? But then again, the price that they were given was not fair, I would argue. And then as well, maybe he's also thinking, maybe the Nuno appointment wasn't exactly maybe the way they wanted it to be. But good question, D-Trex. I would say Paratici is probably thinking exactly what you just brought up there. I think you're on mute, Dave. You're on mute, Dave.
My bad. Couple more comments in, guys, and then we have a few super chats we'll get to straight away, as it is part of the deal. Adam says, ready for therapy session. Hashtag Harris Army. Big yourself up, Adam. You're always in, my man. And the same as Aaron Dove, D-Trex, Kane, Old Soul, Dermot as well, Cody, big yourselves up. ATX7 Gamer says, big up, David and Jack. I was impressed with the first half, but second half, the players' heads dropped out of the first goal. This is seriously mentality issues in this team. As soon as something goes wrong in the game, come on, you Spurs. ATX7 Gaming, you're speaking music to my ears, my man. It's 100%, and it's exactly what we were saying, on the watch long, Jack. Characters, heads dropping, as soon as something goes wrong, no problem solving. Look, there's a lot of issues right now, and a lot of them have come to the surface today. Raymond Simpson, 11. Simpson says, big up the Irish Army, always on point. Big up, Raymond. Really appreciate that, my man. A very nice comment. Really appreciate that. Dark Sun G21 says, I'm not that upset because we didn't have our full squad. Well, what would you say to Dark Sun G, Jack?
Dark Sun G always lifts my spirits a little bit, I would say. Dark Sun G, again, I would say even in moments like this, another reason, not even because of, his promotion of the youth day, not even because of Dark Sun G's tactical insight that always seems to be right, especially Dave, he'll bring up, the tactical suggestions weeks before, and then you kind of think about it and you're like, wow, in hindsight, I totally would have done what Dark Sun G, suggested, even when I even doubted at times. And I would say Dark Sun G, you also as well have the talent to be able to lift up spirits a little bit, bring that bit of optimism back, and even for us as well, the bit of delusion back. So Dark Sun G, really do appreciate you, and we do love you as well for things like this, and that's why we love you on this channel, Dark Sun G, because I don't know, Dave, he's almost like a mother, almost in a way. He kind of just lifts your spirits when you're a bit down, right? Especially when you kind of just want to be maybe that kind of negative Nancy towards everything. He's kind of the guy that reminds you, like, listen, maybe you could have thought about it this way, it could have gone this way, and it kind of lifts you up again, maybe brings you back into it. And also, he's kind of preparing us for what you were just saying, Dave, for Monday, when we have to put up face, save face for the Arsenal scum as well. Dark Sun G, no better comment, to help me save face for the Arsenal scum. So I will say, Dark Sun G, you really do a lot for us. It will, as well as all the support that you give us. We really do appreciate you for that. But also just every comment you make, Dark Sun G, I really do. Honestly, it's always so well thought, so well spoken. And so, Dark Sun G, you really are a legend.
Yeah, Dark Sun G, look, putting in a comment there that's going to cheer me up. I know you definitely have the capability, my man. It doesn't even have to be a super chat, my man. Just in general, just put in something that's going to cheer me up. If you have a good joke, Dark Sun G, do put it in there for me. NSQ says we were unlucky. Yeah, look.
Maybe in the first half, yeah. In the first half.
Yeah, but again, we have to capitalize when we're on top, Jack. Yep. We were saying it on the watch along. Yep. David says that second half was a disgrace. You can see the players hanging their heads and giving up.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Bjorn, the Norwegian Viking, worst job in the world. Being a Spurs supporter, it's one of the toughest anyway. That's for sure, my man. It's Tony Hall. Big yourself up. Chris, David, and Jack, big up. We are spineless, no mentality in these overpaid players. No, yeah, 100%. That look, everything people are saying, there's elements you can pick from everything and say you're spot on, you're on the money. James Redmond, is it possible that the squad is crap? I don't want to say it. You're never going to get that out of me, James Redmond. Come on, I'm pissed off, but you'll never ever get that out of me, my man. Never. The Bertie 108 1008 says this show shows the distance between Tottenham and the big clubs. We are miles away, and I blame the top. Evie and Enoch out. Nuno is and will be the scapegoat. Yep, that's a very
we
good
said this
point.
on the watch along. Well said, Bertie. Well said, Bertie. I think David and I more or less said, a version of that. I don't think as well as you just did, Bertie, but we did say a version of that. Basically, it's just, we will find the scapegoat, and usually the scapegoat with this club is the manager. But as well, I was saying the difference between us being Chelsea and Man United is really just Levy and Enoch's investment, their willingness to push the club a bit further, and they're too scared to do it. So Bertie, you're 1,000% right.
Yeah, he's spot on. He's spot on. Slow Jamrod says, big up Harris Army. Disappointing, but not surprising. It's where we are as a club. Winning costs money. Enoch and the owners are simple, really. Yeah, look, it does. It does. But you know what it is? Even if you're not going to spend the money, at least do your recruitment right. Who's looking into these players? And I've said this time and time again. Who's looking into these players? The background of them, making sure they will toe the line, but they'll work hard. But they can problem solve. They dedicate themselves to their craft. Who's doing the homework on these players? The top teams win stuff because a lot of their players, look, you always have 1 or 2, 3 renegades in a top team, but the majority of their players are all solid professionals who set the standards. And I couldn't agree more, Slow Jam. Great comment. Kuva99 says, surely trust is earned over a long period of time. Shouldn't you say in Nuno, we hope? Yeah, probably, Kuva. You got me there. But look, I'm going to keep saying in we trust, man, no matter what.
Dialectics, Kuva, dialectics. But yeah, well said.
Yeah, and look, we're going to start getting through some of these super chats. There is a couple there. Faz Rapfar says, reality check. Chelsea was lost cause next week is key. Yeah, 100%. Reality check today. Couldn't agree more. Look, do you know what it was? Some people, look, we were all kind of like it's a bit of a lost cause going into the game. But, Tottenham, they always have the ability to give you a semi. You know what I mean? And then, all of a sudden take it away from you. It's like being in a massage parlor. You're getting a nice massage, and next thing you turn around and it's a bloke. You know what I mean? And you don't swing that way. It's only Tottenham have that ability. Look, we'll move on, Faz. You're going to get me in trouble, but big up Faz Rapper. Yeah,
was unexpected. Well done.
Connor Cusack. Big yourself up, Adam Phillip as well. But look, let's get to Tin Man Super Chat.
All of a sudden, it's Daniel Levy giving you the massage. Yeah, totally, Dave. Totally agree. But Tin Man 007 says, guys, fans forget we lost 16 goals from Bale, I think he means. If Kane or Son don't score, who does? What was Paratici cooking? Pot noodles. Here's the thing, Tin Man 007. I love this comment. I do love this comment, Tin Man, but I got to break it down a few different ways. If you think about this 16 goals from Bale, I would say the most overpriced 16 goals you could ever get from a player ever. You're paying $20 million, $15 million, whatever it is at this rate, for a guy to get goals against a hat trick against Sheffield. Of course, he absolutely showed up against Leicester City. You might even argue, actually would rather maybe, I don't want to say this, but I am, Bale basically got us into the Europa Conference League with that performance against Leicester City. And so the people of Tin Man, if you're one of those people that say you don't want to be in the Europa Conference League, Mr. Bale did get you into the Europa Conference League at the end of the day. So I would say that. And then again, the goals that he has scored for our club last season, I do feel like we're against maybe lesser opposition. So if I'm paying a guy $20 million a year on loan just to do that, I don't think it was as impressive as people would like to say as well. We've said this countless times. Do all the goals have to come from one player? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They can absolutely be well divided amongst, the majority of the squad. But I do think you have a point there. And then I would say, with Paratici, what is he cooking? Pot noodles? Here's what I would say, Tin Man 007. And David's even gotten a video of this. I make a pretty good pot noodles. What I do is I do a nice little hard-boiled egg. I cook it about 5 minutes so it's still a little bit runny. And then I put some scallions there, a bit of onions and whatnot. And I put a little sriracha sauce on the eggs. Pour the pot noodles on top of it, and it looks like it turns a $1 pot noodle, makes it look like a $13 ramen. That's all I will say. Tin Man 007. Maybe Levy needs my kind of expertise on that kind of thing to make something look a lot cheaper, look a lot more expensive. I probably even do that with some of the stats I give about players, make certain players look a lot better than they are. But Tin Man 007, if you're saying a pot noodle, can't look like a $13 million signing, I'll tell you, I can make it do that.
No, look, first of all, I want to big up Tim, man. That's some good banter. What's Paratici cooking a pot noodle? That made me chuckle. He definitely put a smile on my face anyway, that's for sure. That's a good one. I like that. Look, when it comes to Paratici, look, at the end of the day, Paratici was brought in to maybe improve the signings that we are making. As in, look, Romero, look, no doubt he's going to become a good signing. Emerson, no doubt he's going to become a good signing for Tottenham. Brian Hill, in my opinion, although not proven, I think he's going to become a good signing for Tottenham. So I do think that, look, Papa Sarr, a lot of people, a lot of people that do know about him, put a lot of respect on his name. So look, maybe Paratici was brought in for that, but at the end of the day, we still have to understand, and we always knew this, but Levy was always going to still be the one signing off on the checks. Yeah. At the end of the day, Paratici is not the one to be looking at. He's not the one to be looking at. It's still Levy and Enoch are the ones to be looking at. Paratici was brought in to do a job. And so, look, for me, I think they are the ones to be looking at rather than, Paratici. But great banter, and I love that.
I sent you that pot noodle video, though, Dave. I even showed, me pouring it over. You will admit, Dave, it did look a lot. It kind of looked like what Paratici was cooking, maybe, Dave. Yeah. Something that really looked a lot better than maybe what it was. In reality, and that's all it is about. I know Levy loves that too, making something look a bit more expensive, a bit better than maybe what it really is. So all I can say is I kind of will take a page out of maybe Paratici's book in that regard, Tin Man, but fantastic comment.
Brilliant, Tin Man. Big yourself up. Ken, the long shot says, also consider this is really the first time a real 11 has played together, and still we have injuries. It hurts to lose to Chelsea, but we can learn. No, look, Kane, the long shot, definitely, he's adopting the mentality as well. Me, you, Jack, Kane, the long shot, Jacko, and Brian C. all have something in common. Dark Sun G. Look, we all learn. We all try to learn. Look, do you know what it is, right? And I love it when Brian C. and it was perfect timing because over the last few years, I've just getting bored of losing. It's just hurting too much, and the fact that, for me now, I just don't lose anymore. I just learn from it. You know what I mean? So it it is a fresh perspective on things, and I really like it. Look, do you know what though? Kane, the long shot. I have to be honest. I do question: does Nuno still know his best 11? But look, do I blame him? Not 100%. How can he? He's had all the injuries. None of the new signings have had real time to settle in. He was planning for a season without Harry Kane. Now he has Harry Kane. So how can he know his best 11? But at the end of the day, it's Tottenham Hotspur. We're Tottenham Hotspur. And these problem-solving situations, it has to be done quick. It has to be done quick. Is Nuno the man to do it in time? Who knows? But he's got this week to definitely try and do it. And let's hope he can think on his feet, Kane, the long shot. That's what I say.
Jack, you see the money sign spelled in Chelsea, though, for Kane the long shot. A bit cheeky there. I would say very subtle as well, Kane the long shot. You can tell he's a very clever guy. But in a way, Kane, a lot of people will say, and I'm expecting this a lot, Dave, as much as, we like to maybe turn things a different way, maybe point things towards the light, a lot of times they do bring us back to reality. And I would say even this one is a bit of that optimistic kind of reality. As much as I kind of want to believe what Kane the long shot is saying, I kind of actually do agree with him. I kind of feel like I'm kind of down in the dirt at the moment with how, it went today. But these comments, it's hard to argue with that, I will admit. As much as I feel like I am disheartened by how Nuno performed today in squad management, you do kind of sometimes have to give him a bit of a break. It's not gone according to plan. It's not gone according to plan. Harry Kane's, debacle, Tanguy's debacle, to, also majority of players, not even really being in the country or even training with the team as well. You kind of think maybe he has more excuses than we're probably giving him credit for. But then simultaneously, we do want to see a winning team, and we want to see, attacking style football. We want to see us be able to maybe play the way that we did in the first half against Wolves. We want to see that against Watford. We want to see that against other teams. So Kane the long shot, I will say, this is actually, to a degree, maybe like Dark Sun G's comment, I would say actually is a bit of that optimism that I don't think is actually that, overly optimistic, Dave. It's actually a bit of a reality check of even optimism.
Look, at the end of the day, deep down, no manager is ever to blame for what's going on until we see the real investment that we'd like to see in the squad, right? Or at least start doing our homework and getting with what we are spending and getting in, the right players for the right money and, getting them in to help improve the squad. And where we are, look, it's kind of like we're almost gone back to the Martin Yole era, Jack, to be honest with you. That's how far it looks like we've fallen. And it hurts. But look, it's never the manager's fault. But at the same time, the thing is, us fans are getting less and less patient because of what we've had to put up with for the last few years. But look, like I keep saying, it is a dangerous position to be in because, and this is why I say we do need to take time over the next week to properly weigh things up and judge it, because we're in a very fine moment right now where if we get it wrong, this season, we are going down the route of Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
And that's the God's honest truth and reality of it. We are going down that route where we will end up getting another one or two managers in, sacking them, very, very quickly, and then we'll be stuck with someone like a Coleman from maybe Jurgen Klopp or Thomas Tuchel to come in, who are not the real deal, and hoping that we can transfer what they have into Tottenham, which is not going to happen. What we do need to do right now is, hopefully Nuno does have a clear identity and a philosophy of what way he wants to play, but he has to get the players to carry it out. It's going back to Martin Jol era sort of thing, where he came in with a philosophy, put it throughout the whole club, and it continued and brought us all the way to the Pochettino era. And then after that, it's got lost, and we're kind of back at that rebuilding phase. So, look, do we have the right man in place to put it in? That's what I'm thinking now. But look, for me, this guy has got to unite again to prove that he can do it, to start showing more signs of improvement. Look, do you know what's so frustrating about Jack? Because the first half, there was so much positives to take it away, and you're like, yeah, he is getting it. But then the second half, and you're like, Jesus, there's so much.
It was all undone
in the second half. But then again, you do have to look at the players, because every time the same things keep happening, the heads keep bowing every time we're 1-0 down. So, look, it's a very, very tricky position. And, look, I think it's one that we all need to just time to take a few days to get our head around and really kind of, proper sit back, analyse it, and see where we're all at in our own head, and, justify everything off your beliefs, and then, stick with what your beliefs are, and that'll give you your decision. That's where I think we're at. But big up to Kane the long shot. Really appreciate the support, my man.
Great comment.
Dusty Tone says, things were somewhere positive going into this season. Some good transfer wins against Man City. No goals conceded in first few games. 2 bad games, and it feels like it's a hole and can't get out of.
It's tough. These are tough, Dave. Ones from Dusty Tones like this, I will say, are absolutely tough to argue with. But maybe you can break it down first, Dave, and then I can go after if you like, or I can do it first.
No, look, I spoke there last, so you can go first. And you go there, Jacko. People are sick of listening to me, man. You take it.
It does feel like a hole we can't get out of, but maybe to a degree, Dusty Tones, and I kind of mentioned this before, but I sometimes find myself where I am actually doubting Nuno. Don't get me wrong. I am doubting Nuno. But I do feel like sometimes, and I mentioned this in the watch along, I kind of took myself back to maybe what practically the majority, if not the entirety of Spurs fans were saying from maybe, I would say, May through July, Dave. We all thought that this was going to be, some people, and I'm not going to call anybody out, many people almost seriously were mentioning relegation, player, mid-table, lower mid-table, whatnot. And now it seems like maybe with the expectations as if we were supposed to get top 4 this season. And I feel like, again, David and I are guilty of that because we want only the best for the team. We will only kind of accept the delusion. We want the clean slate. We just want to, imagine that our team can get to top 4. Also considering the way that we started, we definitely wanted to see top 4. We actually probably bought into it. We bought into the Nuno winning style football, and now we're here, and we're thinking that we're kind of in the same place we were last season. But that's why I think we have to take ourselves back to maybe that March through July kind of era when we were saying we were not expecting anything out of this season. We were not expecting anything out of the transfer window because of Enoch and Levy and whatnot. So I do maybe think we have to take ourselves back to the word that we originally had, which was absolute. I wouldn't say negativity, but Dave, we were fearing the worst. We were all thinking it was going to be the worst season. We were thinking it was going to be practically a carbon copy of maybe the last season, if not worse. And I will take us back to those days, and I'd be happy to show us all the times that I was saying versions of that, all the times that maybe David was saying versions of that, if not other channels were saying versions of that. And so it might be hard to break it down that way, but when you do think about it, this was supposed to be that painful rebuild. This was supposed to be that painful season that we knew would have its highs and lows. And we've had definitely a good high. We had a very good high in the first 3 games of the season, and now we're experiencing a real low. And if you told me that last season, if I was told that, listen, you're going to have some highs and lows, you're going to have some really tough games, some really bad weeks as well, I would not have been that surprised. So it's just, I don't know. Sometimes we kind of maybe get a bit too caught up in maybe sometimes the momentum, and then sometimes we get a bit too caught up in the reactionary, effect of some of these games. But then again, I'm not going to be buying too much into the Nuno project at the moment, or even the Spurs project. But I will say we really were fearing even a lot worse than the position we are in now.
Do you know what it is, though, Jack? You look at the game, and it kind of mirrors exactly what you're saying, man, and exactly what Dusty Tones is kind of saying as well. Is you look at the first half, a team on the front foot, plenty of creativity in it, aggressive, getting stuck in, turning ball over and doing the right things, right? Which shows you, and I firmly believe, if you can get that team together, fit, added with Lucas and Bergwijn, one of them come in, you have game changers on the bench and vice versa, right? And you can keep that team together. You look at it and you say, potentially you could catch Man City to that fourth spot, Jack. I said this season I think Man City won't be anywhere near the title. It seems like at the minute, early doors, it doesn't look like they will be, but look, they proved that wrong last season. But you look at that and you say, yes, because you don't spend as much, we've built a lean team, lean, mean, aggressive winning team, right? And you can get away with that. Right. But then you look at the second half, and it's much like last season. You know what I mean? And it has very easy, can go down that route. Very easy. But then you look at the last two games. Palace 3-0, Chelsea 3-0, slapped 3-0 twice on the trot. The Palace one, you should never be slapped 3-0.
No, never should be 3-0, you're right.
Well, you look again, and today's game mirrors that. Then you look at Dusty Tone's comment here. 2 bad games and it feels like a hole we can't get out of, which is 100%, because again, it feels like are we going back to last season? And then, at the first half of the season, we were winning and we were all, geez, maybe we could do something here. Today has left me more questions than answers. I'll be honest with you. I thought coming out of today's game, I'd know exactly where we are as a squad. But no one can actually come out today or this week and definitively say they know where we're at as a squad when you have two contradictions of halves of football. So look, it's one of them. I think this week will actually tell us everything we need to know in terms of I think it will answer all the questions. But Dusty Tones, my man, really appreciate the super chat.
Fantastic comment again. Honestly, the Harris Army is I will say, these have been fantastic comments. I mean, will say, I tip my flat cap to the rest of you in the Harris Army and the flat cap army, the Dave Army. I mean, honestly, unbelievable comments. Really very thought provoking.
And I'll just say to everybody, don't worry, we will get back to getting everyone's comments up, but the super chats are coming in and we do have to get to them, guys. So don't worry about that. But there's always periods in the show where there's none coming in. Sometimes there's shows where there's none that come in at all. So we will be able to keep getting your comments up. Just stick with us. Trust in the process. No, I shouldn't be saying that. I really shouldn't be saying that now. But big up, everybody. 167 in right now. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. If you're new, make sure you are smashing the subscribe button. And, a super chat does skip you and get you straight ahead in the comments. Timman007 says, when was the last time we lost 3-0 twice on the trot in the league? It's going to get worse this week. This spineless slot will throw Nuno under the bus. And look, Jack, it is something that I've been saying an awful lot, and he did say I agreed about Paratici 100% on Levy. The pot noodle comment was just banter. No, we got that.
No, believe me, Tim Man. Like I said, honestly, I think Tim Man, that pot noodle comment was absolutely class, and that's all I meant. Is Levy probably would have liked my answer more than Tim Man. You're exposing Levy, you're exposing Paratici. Believe me, Tim Man, do it again. I was just meaning by I can make like Levy. Levy probably want to hire me because I can make a pot noodle look like a $14 ramen. That's all I meant, Tin Man. So he probably should hire me, to lead the transfer brigade.
But look, Tim Man, when you're saying here about the spineless lot or this will throw Nuno under the bus. Look, this is again, we can't keep letting this happen. Look, I do think we got a lot of the problem. See, this is again, we're put in a difficult situation, Tim Man, because you look at it. We left ourselves that much to do. It was always the impossible that we were never, ever going to get everything done in transfer window. We were always going to come out the transfer window. Or we didn't get that. We didn't get this. That was always going to be the inevitable. We were always going to come out the other end of the transfer window talking about that. But, there is still another couple that maybe do need to go, and, again, lack of leaders. It's lack of leaders, and it's a tough position to be in. It's a really tough position to be in. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, it is what it is. We were never, ever going to get everything done in the one window. And it is spineless. And we see the same things. These players keep throwing managers under the bus. But Jack, when does it come to a point? Maybe you can answer this, add on to this for Tim Man here. But when does it come to a point where you say, no, we're going to stick with the manager until we do clear out the amount of players we want to clear out?
I'm gonna, maybe answer this, and maybe the Harris Army, probably doesn't. Sorry, say that again, Dave.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus there, lad.
No. Believe me, I'm gonna honestly, I'm gonna answer this, and maybe a way the Harris Army probably wouldn't like me to, Dave. I don't know the last time we've lost 3-0 on the on the trot twice. I would say I'm actually, in terms of my stats forte, weirdly I can remember a million stats about all our players, Dave. But I actually do sometimes struggle at sometimes remembering a certain score line from a certain year. Remembering certain records or how many wins on the trot we had in a certain season. That's actually not my forte, I will admit. Maybe it's just a few too many of something, that probably gives me a bit of that memory loss on it. Or maybe it's just being a Spurs fan where we do just try to forget a lot of these moments as well. So I would say, honestly, you might be right, Tin Man. This is very concerning. Maybe, losing 3-0 like this twice in a row is actually something that we should actually read into a bit more and realize that it is maybe starting to reach the end possibly of maybe this managerial process with Nuno. But I would then say, are we throwing Nuno under the bus at this stage? I think to a degree we are, considering that, he hasn't had, let's say, the best of, how do you say, Dave? He hasn't had maybe all the cards handed to him. He hasn't been dealt the best hand. He has not in any way, been given every single resource available to him to succeed. And so is he, considering it wasn't our first choice, wasn't our second choice, wasn't our third choice, wasn't our fourth choice practically, did I really expect him to maybe turn out the way that it is? Probably not, but I do think that at the same time, Tim, man, the way it has gone is definitely a way to be very concerned. I am very concerned, but all I can say is, Thomas Frank, it was brought up earlier by, Marcelo, I think it was a good point. There are managers out there, though, that probably would do a bit better with the squad that we have available. And maybe that's just what it is they didn't maybe select the right one, but I don't know. Then we're then asking just every manager just to perform miracles, and how many managers are out there that can perform miracles? I don't know. And so Tin Man, again, though, a very thought-provoking comment.
Big up, Tim, man. Really appreciate the support, my man. Big yourself up. Brian C with the big one. Well done. Jesus, I really appreciate it, Brian. Thank you so much, my man. He says, today stings a lot. Players' limitations and lack of resilience more the issue than Nuno. Like Ali, Lo Celso, even Kane, all working off an old operating system, needing a software update, fuming again, need to learn, and quick. Well, look, we'll break this comment down. Look, Brian, it stings, my man. Look, I want to know, I hope you actually have come out from behind the couch. I know you said you were going to be behind the couch, watching the game from behind the couch all game. So I hope you have actually come out and you're actually lying on the couch, first of all. But look, player limitations and lack of resilience. I agree with you. With you. There's a massive element to it that there is. Look, limitations on players like Dele Alli. I think he's limited. I'd even say Lo Celso is probably limited. Harry Kane is starting to look like he's limited. Lucas is limited. Bergwijn is limited. So I agree with you there. Resilience. Look, there's still players at this club who, unfortunately, look, it's just been shown time and time again, whether it's been cup semi-finals, cup finals, whether it's having a chance to go top of the league or really mount some pressure or even win the league, we've bottled it. And it is a lack of resilience. It's a lack of balls standing up and saying, hang on, I'm not going to let this happen today. But unfortunately, I think that it's got to the point, Brian, where it's happened time and time again, that it's kind of like, oh, well, we know what's going to happen here, lads, don't we? You know what I mean? The heads are down and they just kind of continue in that vein. But that's where we need players to come into the dressing room and say, look, Kane, you have the ability to change this game. Son, you have the ability to change this game. Lloris, keep saving shots like you're doing. Look at Dyer and say, look, Dyer, you've had a tough time at Spurs. You really want to endear yourself into the fans. Now's the time to stand up. Now's the time to do it. We need someone to come into the dressing room to start doing that and shake these boys up and start getting belief behind them again. Because I don't know, it just hurts, honestly. Yeah. Honestly, it just hurts. Look, Ali, Lo Celso, and even Kane all working off an old operating system. Exactly, they are. Well, definitely Ali and Kane. I think they're still working off. Look, not so much Kane. Dele Alli, look, he's still working off Pochettino's system. Kane. Look, as much as I think Kane needs to improve as well and become a leader. He's been here long enough, for God's sake. But there is also, Nuno was planning for a season without him, so wasn't incorporating him into the tactics. So now that has to change. You have to incorporate Kane, whether you like it or not. He's here. He's one of the best strikers in the world. You have to incorporate him. And he also did play well under Josie. He had a phenomenal season, but he needs to be getting more of himself, and we need to get more out of him. Lo Celso, look, I believe he is overrated. I've said that numerous of times, but I don't understand you. I don't. Look, I'm with you at fuming, man. I'm with you at fuming. We have every right to be angry tonight. We really do. But Brian, we win or we learn, man. And look, it's North London Derby week. We need to pick ourselves up tomorrow morning and, just take it on the chin, especially coming in and absolutely rinse them Gunners all week. Because, look, even if we don't win the game next weekend, at least we can enjoy ripping them beforehand. And we definitely need to learn and quick. Big up, Brian C. Really appreciate that. Jack, anything you would like to say to Brian C. quickly?
Fantastic comment. I would say is maybe just it feels like Tottenham are like Dell, Dave, an old operating system, just an old company, that maybe just got caught up with, by the rest of the software systems, the rest of the hardware systems. And we're just trying to run, sophisticated software on a very old hardware. That's what I would say. Maybe Brian C. understands that. I'm not even much of a tech person myself, but, I kind of felt kind of proud of myself for that metaphor there. So I will say, it feels like we're kind of like, a Dell company or like an IBM or something like that. Brian C. Just feels like, we're way too outdated. And I agree, some of these players are absolutely on an old operating system, whether it be Pochettino or whether it just be, whatever form that they're kind of building their whole reputation off of, and that might be even Lo Celso's case as well and Ali's case. So Brian C., honestly, unbelievable comment. And yet again, I'll say it again, an unbelievable comment by the Harris Army yet again, Dave.
No, absolutely brilliant, Brian C. And good to see you, my man. Good to see you. And like I said, I hope you have come out from behind the couch.
Appreciate you also, Brian C.
Yeah, exactly.
Win or learn also, Brian C. All because of you. All because of you, Brian C. Win or learn, all because of you.
No, absolutely love it. Jerome says, nothing has changed, boys. The team play well for 45 minutes and then no energy for the next. Where did that aggressivity with Poch gone? Look, it comes down to the training. It comes down to the fitness and the regime Pochettino had them under. It comes down to, they were fitter than everybody else. So we were out running teams left, right, and center, especially in the second half. We used to grow into teams in the second half. And look, we had a lot of players, a lot of young, hungry players with points to prove. Dele Alli was on the rise. Harry Kane had a point to prove. Son was on the rise. Ericsson had a point to prove. Dembele, Wanyama, Jan Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Lloris, Rose, right. Walker. They all brought and believed into a system because they were young and hungry enough to. There was no real strong personalities in that dressing room that couldn't do what Poch wanted to do. But the reason why he was allowed to do it, Jack, and the reason why they went with Poch's system and didn't kick up and complain about it is because we gave him the chance and he was allowed to clear 12 players out and stamp his authority on the team and just didn't play players until they were gone. It was that simple. And we need someone to come in and be that ruthless again. Look, not as ruthless as that, but look, there's just certain players that we just need to keep away from the team. And it's that simple. But great comment, Jerome. What would you say to Jerome, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, where is that aggression gone? Yeah, I really do agree. But even this also, the whole 45 minutes, playing well for 45 minutes and then not playing well for the next 45 minutes. David did bring it up. And, I think in his weird Tottenham TV reaction on the post-match reaction as something that I don't really want to blame on Jose or even blame on Nuno, but it seems like it's something that has kind of arisen since maybe the departure of Poch, where it felt like, it's just since then we either have one amazing 45 minutes and the next 45 minutes is the complete opposite, the polar opposite of the previous 45 minutes. Or we've even had it before where we play an initial horrible 45 minutes and then we actually recover in the next 45 minutes, as well. So it's maybe something connected to potentially, I would say, I don't want to blame it on Jose by any means, but it's something maybe a bit kind of inherited from the Jose era. And I think Nuno in a similar way is also kind of a bit similar in that regard. It does feel like we just have polar opposite, almost, I would say polar opposite 45 minutes. And I feel like that first 45 minutes, if you ask me after that halftime, even though I was very worried that we did not finish those chances, if you told me, were we the better team and will we continue to be a better team, I would absolutely have answered yes. And then to see us absolutely flip-flop like that, I don't have an answer for it. It's something that the players have to answer for, something that Nuno has to answer for. And yeah, I would say the aggression that Poch, has shown is he would show it for the full 90 minutes. Poch instilled that in the players as well as in their fitness. They would instill it for the whole 90 minutes. And it's also possible that maybe David said, before, and maybe even Brian C was bringing it up before, where it's just something like the Poch era. It's just they need that software update from the Poch era. Clearly the success or just the wages or wherever it is has gotten to their head, and they're no longer capable of maybe instilling that aggression, instilling that stamina, instilling that passion for the club that Poch obviously gave to the players. And I think it's all gone, Jerome. I really do think it's all gone, and we just need a full new rebuild, a full new wipe set, and it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Yeah. But again, I'm going to continue to say this until, I doubt I'm going to have to say this continually, but honestly, an unbelievable comment yet again. Very thought-provoking, Jerome. Honestly, they should be hosting this show, the Harris Army. They should be hosting it.
No, so some of them should be. Some of them should be with some very thought-provoking questions. Big up, Jerome. Absolutely love it. Brilliant, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. OG Law says, raw emotion and all, but Nuno isn't the guy for the job when it comes to changing the game. He hasn't got a clue. Just rubs his chin. Levy out. Look, I agree. There was questions.
I think he does a bit more of these than the chin rubbing, but I know what you mean, OG Low.
Look, against Palace, there was questions about being able to change the game. Again today, there's questions. So yeah, look, them questions are definitely warranted, my man. And look, does he have the balls to change it early? Look, you look at Thomas Tuchel, he had the bollocks and he got the result. Do we have the balls? I'm not 100% sure, does he? I'm not sure, does he have the cojones? Is he really going to make, does he have the balls to pull off Dele Alli? Does he have the balls to pull off Harry Kane if he's not playing well? No, he doesn't. It's that simple. No. We've seen it. 100%, my man. I couldn't agree more, OG Law. Another great comment, my man. Jack, do you want to say that to OG Law there?
All I would say is that he does seem to be more of a mustache rubber than a chin rubber is all I would say. OG Low, I think personally it's actually better for your face to rub the mustache from experience. I get a couple of pimples, when I rub the chin, a bit too much. So all I can say is, Nuno's got that right. And the one thing he doesn't have right, OG Low, is definitely his game management and his substitutions. Those are things he doesn't do right. And I will say that's the thing I just don't trust. I don't trust at this rate, Nuno to make the right substitution. I don't trust Nuno to make the right game management decision at this stage. The way that he set up the team originally, I still have a bit of trust that he can get the original lineup right. He can get the original idea right. But it seems like, adjusting it from there, or maybe manipulating it from there, he really does struggle at. And OG Low, I do agree with you. I mean, I don't really think at this rate, he's the perfect guy for the job. Do I think he's the right guy for the job? That still, I think, is up for debate. But he certainly, I don't think at this stage is the perfect guy for the job. So, I think that's, again, another thought-provoking comment. And all I can say is I don't trust his game management. I really don't. But maybe I trust after the lineup he put out today, I do maybe trust his original ideas. That's all I can say.
100%. And big up, OG Low. Really appreciate the support, my man. Jack Timman 007 says, club's lack of ambition filters down to Nuno and the players. Why do our fans continue to accept mediocrity? We have the most undemanding fan base.
I think we have a quite demanding fan base. I will say, Tim, man. I think we have a very demanding fan base, but maybe it's also possible that we don't. And it's maybe I might be, culpable of that. I would say maybe I actually should be demanding more. But, sometimes we find ourselves to be a bit realistic, considering the investment that we've had this summer, considering, Levy and Enoch at the wheel as well, and also considering, like I said, what we were thinking how this season would go. As I mentioned before, in May, July, a lot of us were fearing even a lot worse than this. So I would say, we are actually quite demanding. We do expect a lot from the boys. And as well, we're always expecting at this rate, apparently, we want attacking, aesthetically pleasing football. And with how today went, I really do agree with the people that want that. And that is actually demanding a lot. So maybe our ambition is maybe in terms of what actual, like material success or actually trophies at the end of the day, we probably aren't that demanding in that regard. But in terms of the quality of football, in terms of what we actually expect, players to do for the badge, I think we actually are quite demanding.
Do you know what? In a way we are demanding. But you know what? You look
maybe
at the numbers.
Maybe that's very low bar, though. Maybe that's a low bar that I just set out.
No, look, you look at the numbers for the protests and everything else. There's a lot more people that just want to get to the stadium rather than actually demand things. Look, for me, I'll be honest with you. Look, I was out there. I was demanding things from Levy and everything else. But I'll be honest with you. I just got disillusioned with the whole thing for a little while. That it just... just disillusioned. It was kind of like, I was kind of like, we're never going to get them out. You know what I mean? I sat there, I called for director of football, so I had to give it a chance. I got what I wanted. But look, we do need to demand more. I do think we do need to demand more. But look, if there is going to be any more protests and all, they have to be planned at the right time, and we have to make sure that there is numbers behind it. If that is the way forward. I'm not even sure what the way forward is anymore, to be honest with you. There's no clear way forward at the moment. I'm constructively trying to get them out, or even get some change, to be honest with you. Look, bringing in a director of football, is it enough change? No. Look, I'll be honest, it probably even appeased me for a little while, but look, we need more. We need more, and it's that simple. But big up Tin Man 007. Yeah, big up Tin Man 007. Absolutely another good thought-provoking comment.
I might be, and I said this, Tin Man, I might be one of those where I should be demanding more. I really do think I should. I probably should be demanding absolutely more from Levy and Enoch. I'm probably, not as much of a, veteran supporter as you probably are, Tin Man. So, maybe I do actually expect a bit less than maybe the rest of the Spurs fans. I probably have been actually stabbed in the back, not as many times as the rest of the Spurs fans as well. So I kind of, I'm more and more, I'm starting to learn those lessons, I would say, from the Spurs fan base, that, I should be asking for more. I should expect more. So you definitely, I think, have a very good point, Tin Man.
No, big up Tin Man. Big up Tin Man. William Kelly says, I do not want this guy. I want a Graham Potter because he plays the Spurs way and gets the best out of average players. Enoch out, Levy out, never invest in the team properly. Look, William Kelly, what I will say is, look, Graham Potter, he disrespected Tottenham.
He didn't want us.
He didn't want us. Look, he thinks he's too good for us. And I'll be honest with you, if we were to go and look at other managers, I don't want him anywhere near it. Not with him disrespecting us during the summer. I can't have that. He thinks he's too good for us. After the English game, spit it up and churned them out to Sweden. And he comes back, with a bit like the cock of the walk. So, look, I can see why you would call for Graham Potter, but for me, I don't think he's the man. But I can see why you would say that 100%. And, look, do you know what? We do invest, right? We do invest. If you look at our numbers, right? Okay, we don't invest as much as maybe City, Chelsea, but you're never, ever going to have that money to spend. We do invest, I would say. But it's what we invest on. That's the problem. That is the problem. Like, if you actually look at the numbers that we're spending, okay, you'd say, okay, so we are actually spending a bit of money at times, but it's what we're bringing in. We're not doing our homework. We're not bringing in any of the finished articles, or, we're bringing in a player that may look good. Some of the times he can do it in bursts, but never on a consistent basis. But nor did they have the personality or the desire or the hunger to sit down and do it on a permanent basis either. And that's the problem. That's the problem. We need to strike a fine line between getting in a solid professional who will give you a 7 out of 10 every single week. And don't tell me Ben Davies or Harry Winks, not them sort of players, but a solid professional, like a James Milner for Liverpool, for example. We need players like that who are going to give you, and you can depend on every time they come in. And then we do need to have players that, like, okay, even if they're not the finished article, but have the desire and the hunger to get to the very top of the game and want to be the finished article. Not out having parties when they shouldn't be, and they're out doing fun things, and you're sitting there thinking like we're losing. You should be in the training ground. Like, you weren't perfect Sunday, so maybe instead of being out here, why aren't you in the training ground, maybe working on your touch, or especially in like a Lo Celso case or something like that, on your touch and this, that, and the other. But big up William Kelly, my man. Really, really appreciate the support. You're a top man. And big up Mr. House, new channel member. And then William Kelly's in again, Jack. I'll let you take this one, and then we'll crack out a few questions. And William Kelly says Nuno will not last to Christmas. He is clueless on the big stage.
I mean, William Kelly, you're probably spot on. He has till Christmas, like every manager practically has till Christmas. Most clubs, most institutions, they do practically judge the majority of their managers by that stage. If they're not satisfied with what has happened, if they're not satisfied in the position they are in the league, or maybe they dropped out of a cup or whatever it may be, they do definitely question should we actually get in a different manager. I mean, look at it. Chelsea did that with Frank Lampard. They brought in Thomas Tuchel, and then they made a decent investment around Thomas Tuchel to say, listen, we'll bring in these players, next season. We just need you to kind of recover the squad, do the best you can. And it's probably in a similar case for Nuno, but I don't think we're going to be bringing in a Thomas Tuchel kind of quality manager. But I would say, that's kind of the state that probably Levy and Enoch hopefully will be thinking is that, yeah, by Christmas, by the winter period, by the January transfer window, they probably will be having a huge squad report or, even almost kind of a company kind of assessment of, where are they actually headed? And is Nuno the right one to continue to be leading them? He only has a 2-year contract. So hopefully, they should realize that they definitely can't, sack him if they feel like he's not the right one to continue to lead the squad down the right path. So he definitely does have till Christmas. I would say he'd be lucky at this rate to last till Christmas if he were to continue to free fall in this sort of way. But William Kelly, I think and it seems like he is a bit clueless in certain regards when it comes to, I said, the game management, the in-game management. I feel like his original ideas, maybe when it comes to setting up the squad, maybe when it comes to going about things, especially in this match, I think are right, especially against Man City. I thought he went about it the right way. I thought the lineups he set was the right lineup. The way he went about it was the right way. It just seems that from there, or maybe the in-game kind of a style of it, he just does not seem to be the right guy. Really, also the intensity even shows on the sideline. I kind of like to be nice to him, and I thought he looked more stoic than he did intense. But I would say, I'm starting to, not really enjoy maybe those kind of kind remarks towards Nuno. I would say I'm actually quite disappointed in, his in-game management and his style of being able to fix maybe the mistakes that he makes. So William Kelly, but like always, I really do agree with you. I really do agree with you. And I think 100%. He'd be lucky at this rate to last till Christmas. Hopefully he can turn it around, because if he doesn't turn around, he should be fired before Christmas.
Yeah, 100%. And big up William Kelly, my man. Really appreciate the support. Top man. Cuva99 says, is Romero better than Toby? Is Emerson better than Aurier? And is Hill a first 11 player? Answer to any of those, then how much of a rebuild is it? Look, for me...
Here, I got to take this one quickly. Okay. Is Romero better than Toby? Yes. I would say Romero is better than Toby. If you looked at what Romero produced last season, and even I would say in this game, he is better than Toby, in my opinion. He's pacier. He's younger. He has more potential. He was Serie A's best defender last season. He can play in a back 3, back 5. He was one of the best distributors from last season. He's one of the most aggressive defenders from last season. If you're telling me that last season, would I rather have Toby Alderweireld or the best defender in Serie A last season, and literally rated the best defender in Serie A last season, I would take that Serie A defender. Is Emerson better than Aurier? Believe me, everybody was willing to rip on Aurier every single league, every single game. So it's kind of funny that all of a sudden, Emerson plays 2 games and we're thinking that he's worse than Aurier. Also, in my opinion as well, I would say that Emerson has not actually done enough wrong to even warrant that sort of criticism, in my opinion. Again, he's a lot younger than Aurier too, so he has plenty of times to make up to whatever status Aurier, reached with the Spurs fan base. He has plenty of times to reach the Aurier status. He has plenty of time. And I think actually in multiple moments, Emerson got quite stuck in for us. He actually had a very crucial block for us in the first half that maybe people would like to ignore, maybe conveniently. So I would say that. And then as well, is Hill a first 11 player? If I were to pick again, Brian Hill over Eric Lamela, the guy who played 700 minutes in the Premier League last season, I would absolutely take Brian Hill. Somebody, again, that is a one for the future. Somebody, again, that is actually a player that plenty of people outside of Spurs have always rated. Somebody that plenty of people have said is a huge prospect in just the under 23, under 21 world game. Somebody that they absolutely have rated for a long time. I mean, look at Cucurella, look at Trincao. These are all the players that even they rated over, like Brian Hills was rated above these guys as well. They actually thought he was more of a talent than even these guys. So if you ask me, I would absolutely take Brian Hill over the 717-minute Eric Lamela of last season. Played 700 minutes in the Premier League last season on the wages that he's on. And think about it again. How much did Eric Lamela really produce for us in those many years? Sure, he had a great tackles at the Battle of the Bridge. Sure, he had some great, elasticos and whatnot, but he really does think to yourself, like, I would much rather have Brian Hill at this stage as well. So is that a rebuild? No. But is that a rebuild for the future? Yes. And I think absolutely we should have probably rebuilt for the here and now, but how much could we have really done that? And I would say, in my opinion, all 3 of those signings to this day, I would still absolutely take over the players that we replaced them with. And I would stand by that right now.
No, look, make no doubts about it. The rebuild's well underway. Just quickly, my quick opinion. Look, is Romero, if you're comparing him to a prime Toby, no, but Romero's not in his prime. But is he better than what Toby was last season for Tottenham? Yes. Is Emerson better than Aurier? Honestly, my left peg is better than Aurier. He's a joke. He can't control a football. You know, he cost us I don't know how many games. Man City in the final. If there was any mistake,
has Emerson he hasn't cost us anything. Emerson, that's what I would say. He wouldn't have put it. Sorry, David. Yeah, go on.
No. I agree with you. Look, Emerson is better than Aurier, and is he the first 11 player? Mark my words. And look, if not, come back and absolutely cane me in the comments after Kuva at the end of the season. But he will be in the starting 11 by the end of the season. Trust me on that. I can just sense it. But look, the rebuild is well and truly on the way, my man. And big up for the support, my man. Really appreciate that.
Sorry, COVID-99. But yeah, I just maybe you meant something different by it. You know, maybe you did. But all I can say is you know, I think we all were thinking about a rebuild for the future. We were thinking that we also, again, we had one of the highest squad average ages. Now we have one of the younger squad average ages. So as well as COVID-99, you know, there's only so much that you can really say about the rebuild. It's not perfect, but I'm actually not satisfied with it. But to a degree, I was satisfied with it because a lot of people outside of, you know, Spurs were saying that this was an absolutely genius rebuild for the very future.
No, 100%. And big up, Coover, my man. Like I said, I really, really, really do appreciate the support. Big yourself up. Nigel Gates, absolutely love this comment. Absolutely love it. He said, should never have taken Gio and Ndombele off at the same time. But the real loss today was Jimmy Greaves, a legend. None of current crew can hope to be. Yeah, look, an absolute legend. And look, you know, that's also what makes the result hard to take today. You lose a legend. You hope to see an inspired performance from the boys out there and get the result done for Jimmy's friends, families, and all the older generation who had the pleasure of knowing this guy and personally feel attached to this guy. And look, they didn't deliver. And I agree with you. Some of these players can only hope to be a legend like this guy and leave his name in the record books, for as long as he has. So, fair, great comment, Dan, and I really appreciate it. And look, Gio and Ndombele, no, they shouldn't have come off at the same time. It should have been Gio and Ali or Ndombele and Ali, one of the two. But not the two of them off at the same time. Great comment, Mark. I really appreciate it. Jack, do you want to say anything to Nigel Gates?
Yeah, I mean, it really was, to a degree, a huge disrespect, I would probably say, to Jimmy Greaves. Of course, I think what even makes Jimmy Greaves even more incredible with the fact that I said before, he made both 11s. Like, he would make the Chelsea all-time 11. He would make the Spurs all-time 11. That really just shows what type of a player that he was. I mean, unbelievable. All I've been told is that this guy, no matter what, he's just an all-time, just football legend at this rate. He was part of that Bill Nicholson team that won that first ever European trophy for any major European Premier League side, Dave. So, I mean, I don't like to say this, but I am, Dave. I think it was a huge disrespect. I think it was a huge disrespect to, somebody like him. And maybe, we have to just, realize that, they can't always just put in a good performance for maybe what has happened today to Jimmy. But at the same time, I do think it was a huge disrespect the way that maybe certain players went about it today.
No, 100%. It definitely was. It definitely was. And look, Dan, great comment, my man. Absolute great comment. Top man. And thank you for the support all throughout the day today on the watching on land here, my man. Top man. Tim Man 007 says, one striker, no creativity, weak midfield, defense still poor, Nuno tactics poor. These are just some of the issues. Team is worse than last year. Look, the defense, it's not poor in my opinion. You look at the first 3 games, it's just been unsettled the last 2 games. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of rotations. Look, you get Tanganga back out at right back or even right side of centre back. You put Romero in beside him, keep Emerson at right back, keep Reguilon at left back. We're going to have a steady back four. I really do believe that. Midfield, look, there's some work that needs to be done in there. This is the key area. This is the key area for me that Nuno needs to get right. He needs to get the balance right. For me, I would go with a Skip and a Højbjerg and have an Ndombele for the first 45, 50, 60 minutes doing a job out there, creating chances, which we need Son Kane to take when they come his way. And then you can take him off and bring on a Lo Celso or a Brian Hill, depending on what the situation requires. That's my point of view on it. But Nuno has to get a player that will play forward and has the ability to break the lines with his passing, like Ndombele showed today, and give him that role in midfield, but have the security of a Højbjerg and a Skip behind him. That's what my solution would be in there. Nuno's tactics, they need to be adjusted. That's for sure. And they are just some of the issues. The team is worse than last year. No, look, I honestly, I don't think so. Look, I couldn't go through another year of watching Aurier and Doherty fight it out for right back. Couldn't go for another year between Sissoko and Winks fighting it out for a centre midfield position. So I don't think it is worse than last year. I think by the end of the season, points total hopefully will prove that, Tim, man. But look, my opinion is I don't think they're worse than last season. One striker, that is a concern. But look, Dane Scarlett's there now to fill in the job. We couldn't get a quality one in. So look, we're now giving Dane Scarlett the chance. And look, Harry Kane had to take his chances off the bench, and limited chances he was getting. He took them, and look at the player he's become. Other players throughout this squad have had to do it. So it's about time some of these other players, when they get the minutes, that they start doing it. Absolutely love the comment, Tim, man. Really appreciate the super chat, my man. Dark Sun G with the super chat. They don't want us to get into any questions today, Jacko.
I mean, if they want, like I said, Dave, they're hosting the show at this rate. Yeah. Dave, they're hosting the show, and honestly, Harris Army, I would say bravo to you guys. Because you're absolutely putting up these very thought-provoking questions, putting up very thought-provoking comments. They're also just, they're expressing the way they want to feel about it. As much as I maybe I misinterpreted what Kuva said or whatnot, he still gave his honest opinion, and a lot of people are giving their honest opinions. They're not shying away from how they feel. And that's actually what I really do appreciate. And as well, most of the time, I really do, see where they're coming from, if not entirely agree. And so I would say, honestly, you guys are absolutely I didn't think it would go this way. I didn't think the Harris Army would be able to lead the show themselves like this. So I would say, honestly, as well, all of you guys, really incredible job.
I want to say this to the Harris Army as well. I encourage everybody to get their true comments in. Look, at the end of the day, it's good to have a debate, and we will all debate respectively. Whether we agree with each other or whether we disagree with each other, we all do it respectively. And that's what it's all about. It's all about opinions. Look, where would we be born if we all agreed? And at the end of the day, we're never all going to agree on the same thing either. So it's good to have opinions, and that's what we want to see. And I want to keep encouraging the Harris Army and everyone else. Keep getting your opinions in, guys. Keep getting them in. Dark Sung G says, I know that people are sad that we lost, but the problem was that I felt that Dyer was rushed back. Yeah, that's true. 100% he was. 3 South Americans returned one day before the injuries. Look, for me, the 3 South Americans, I question what they were doing in Croatia. They didn't exactly look fit to me, did they? I'll be honest with you. Dyer, I do think, was rushed back too soon. I agree, but we couldn't have afforded to play Romero and Sanchez because it looks like they weren't training properly out there. So you wouldn't have got through as much of the game as we did. So I think, but he had Roden, so he could have played Roden. So I agree he was rushed back. And look, the injuries as well, 100%. I do get that. Lucas Bergwijn, probably would have made a bit of a difference today as well. Especially Lucas, he can pick up the ball, run at players, and make things happen. So yeah, fair comment, Dark Sunji. I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you, my man. Good comment.
Love it, Dark Sunji. Absolutely love it. And I would say, even in the case of Eric Dyer, the way that his ankles, his legs, he looked a bit shaky against Lukaku. Some of the step overs that he was taking didn't look like the same moon boots that we were watching from before. And in fact, kind of the moon boots nickname kind of comes back into play here with the way that he played. So I think you might be right, Dark Sunji, but as well, I think that is that bit of maybe reality check that, despite how horrible maybe today was, I would say, it's that bit of that reality check that we do need, a bit of that positive reality check from Dark Sunji, maybe, as always. So I do agree, Dark Sunji, and maybe what David said too. Not really entirely sure what maybe the players were getting up to over in Croatia. They did not seem fit.
No, 100%. And then he also says, let's wait until Nuno can use his full squad. Which, honestly, that does question my mind. That does come across my mind. See, this is the thing, Dark Sunji. I'm thinking these things in one side of the brain, and then the other side of the brain is coming up with reasons to not be thinking these things. So this is where I'm at the minute. And it's just a weird place to be in. It's a weird place to be in. But big up, Dark Sunji. Really appreciate that, my man. Really appreciate that. Everyone keep getting your comments in. We will get to them now. Guys, if you do want to keep skipping the queue like you've seen, get your super chats in, guys. We get straight to it and we will answer the questions. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys, and smashing that subscribe button. The big push for 5K is on. We have 191 watching right now, which is insane. It's incredible. And make sure you do get over to the flatcapeurotalk as well if you're enjoying Jack's opinions, and make sure you smash the subscribe button on that too. But look, Jack, now's your time to shine. it's your time to start firing some questions, my man.
I got to step up to the plate here, Dave. They're absolutely giving the thought-provoking questions. And, one of the first questions I was going to open up with, might have been a bit of an easier one, Dave. So I'm actually going to have to warn you here. I'm actually going to skip ahead of that one and just go straight to maybe more of the more thought-provoking ones, because the Harris Army has asked it from us. They've really stepped up to it and maybe shown me. David, they're outdoing me here, Dave. They're outdoing me here. So I would say, I got to step up my game in this regard. I got to step it up. So, Dave, Lukaku, we were saying the absolute danger man, the one that we had to isolate, the one we had to take out of the game. As much as he had good chances, as much as he had maybe a few times where you probably would have said, yeah, he probably should have done better there, maybe could have finished that. It felt like he didn't have as good of a game, actually, in fact, that he did maybe against the likes of Arsenal, even against Liverpool and other teams before. He actually was, to a degree, especially in the first half, Dave, he was a bit silenced. He was kind of a bit taken out of the game. He was actually not having the same level of freedom or even the same, productivity as maybe we would have expected from Lukaku. Do you feel like maybe that, just showed that we actually then just couldn't deal with the rest of the Chelsea squad? Do you think that was actually a good job maybe by the defenders, to isolate Lukaku? Or do you just feel like maybe it just was, just that poor of a performance in the second half that all of a sudden just the floodgates opened? Because in my opinion, Dave, it felt like we really did actually maybe do our job to a degree and maybe being able to, kind of isolate and, take Lukaku out of the game, but that still wasn't enough for us. What any thoughts on any of that? Like what kind of happened? It felt like we did take Lukaku out of the game, but maybe we didn't. What do you think?
Look, first of all, Dtrex Canes, look, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do it live as well for you guys so that you guys can come in and help us out.
They liked the player ratings last time. They did, yeah.
Yeah, big up Dtrex, my man. Look, I'll be honest with you. I was actually very happy with how well we marshalled Lukaku, Jack.
Yeah,
good. The only thing is, the longer he went into the game, the more he was kind of sort of getting into it. And
yeah,
I hate to say this, Jack, but your research on Stats with Jack was phenomenal. And, you called two of the goals. You called two of the players that be involved heavily in their build-up play to goals, which was Alonso and Lukaku. And look, you could see it coming because what Chelsea done is they were getting a lot of corners and they were just putting Lukaku to the front post and they were just whipping balls in and using his strength to hold off players and just create problems in around there and let a lot of breaking balls come around, which means because Lukaku's took off the goalkeeper, the centre-backs, and whoever else is trying to compete with him, there's a lot more free players in and around our area or around the edge of the area where the Chelsea players are picking up the ball. Look, even in terms of balls coming in, we dealt very well with Romelu Lukaku. But then the gaps were just starting to open up. And I think the reason why, Jack, and why the rest of the other players started coming into it is because in that first half, we put in a lot of energy. We were pressing extremely high. Yeah. We weren't letting Chelsea, settle on the ball. We were smashing them with tackles, turning it over, and we were getting at them at every opportunity. But whatever happened at halftime, the second half we came out was completely different. Right. Romelu Lukaku was holding off players, holding up the ball, starting to slide Havertz in, and things like that was starting to happen. I'm actually very happy with how we did marshal Romelu Lukaku. But it was the other guy that, really came to the fore, which was Marcus Alonso, Jack. And this was the problem. Romelu Lukaku, everyone concentrates on this guy. It's all the other players around him that come into it.
They practically put Marcus Alonso at center mid, Dave, at one point. They trusted him that much.
Yeah, but as soon as Romelu Lukaku was starting to find his feet and hold off players and everything else, the rest of the players were feeding off that. Havertz, Marcus Alonso. And it was another danger you highlighted, Jack. You cannot let this guy come inside. You have to show him down the outside. And as soon as we started, because we were showing him down the outside, and everything was working perfect. But then all of a sudden, we started showing him on the inside. And that's where he was creating the problems. Now, Jack, if you can spot that and put it out there, on a tactics board and everything else, like, do Tottenham need you to send that into them? Can they not see that? Are they not telling whoever, show him down the outside? Okay, he puts in a good ball, but there's less risk of them scoring by showing him down the outside than showing him on the inside. Yeah. And we didn't do that. And unfortunately, when you show him on the inside, Romelu Lukaku's there to receive the pass. Everyone thinks it's going there. Havertz is running one place. Someone else is running other places. And it starts creating havoc. And then it starts creating space for all their other players to come into the game. And that's then how the second half unfolded. Then we were starting to drop deeper to start plugging the gaps. And, the defense were shouting at the midfielders, come back. You need to start getting onto these guys. They're running riot. And then, that's when we started dropping deeper and deeper, and that's when they just came into complete control of the game, and they were able to recycle the ball from left to right, be patient, and pick us off. But because we expended so much energy in the first half, the second half we couldn't replicate it because we're not fit enough as a squad, and tiredness also led to that. And I can't answer it any better than that.
No, I don't think you could, Dave, honestly, as well. I mean, even you kind of brought a bit of fear to me, even in that Stats with Jack, kind of episode where we were just saying, like, even with Marcos Alonso, if you show him to the outside, he's still plenty dangerous enough. But it really did feel like it actually was the winning formula for us at one point, because we were seeing him, Emerson was absolutely taking care of him multiple times. The moment that Emerson had him on the outside, the moment that he had him pinned in our corner, it felt like Marcos Alonso really did struggle. Multiple times he was even appealing to the ref. He was like, listen, this guy's not letting me come inside. This guy's not letting me do what I want to do. I have to do something about this, Stuart Atwell. And Stuart Atwell was like, well, it seems like Emerson's done a scouting report here. I can't give you any breaks. And then what Thomas Tuchel is, he brought Conte into the side. He allowed Marcos Alonso to have a bit more of that creative freedom. We even said in the Stats with Jack, Dave, I think these were your words, he's practically like a number 10 left wing back. He's that person that they actually rely on to be able to create chances for them out wide. They don't use the likes of Reece James. They don't use other players, to be able to create maybe chances for them on the other side. They do not rely on other players, to create things out on the wings for them. They rely on Marcos Alonso to do it. And like you maybe said, Dave, if that was too easy for us to realize, that that was, somebody that we knew that Chelsea would absolutely depend on and rely on, then I am a bit concerned, because it really was, somebody that I immediately, when looking at this game, was thinking, okay, Romelu Lukaku is the obvious threat. He's the one that everybody knows is, the difference between them winning the title and not winning the title. But then we were thinking, like, there's a reason why Marcos Alonso gets selected over the 60 million, 70 million pound Ben Chilwell every single time. There is a reason why he does. And he's still at 33 years old, whatever he is at this stage. Like, there's a reason why he is selected more often. So it just shows. I mean, it really does just show. I am quite disappointed, because I felt like, he was marshaled. Perfect word, Dave. He was marshaled, quite well by Emerson before. And then the moment that, the second half happened, Marcos Alonso immediately grew into the game and became that really horrible threat. And it's so painful to watch it, because we knew that he's also, to a degree, Dave, he's kind of like a Tottenham bogeyman. We just knew that he has some of his best games against us. We know that he's actually his most creative against us. And even when the animation showed, the way that he's able to cut inside and be able to lay these 1-2s with Lukaku, with Havertz, whatever it may be, he's able to do that quite effectively. And it just was a bit disappointing. You might be right, Dave, to just see that, weirdly, we predicted it perfectly. And, and even our own animations of how Marcos Alonso hurt us. Even at one point, Dave, there was a point when we even saw, the roaming center back. We saw the center back, taking a huge progressive threat as well. Rudiger had that fantastic run that we all predicted, would happen at one point. We saw Christensen have a similar run at one point. It's not to say that Chelsea in any way are predictable, because they're a very good side, and we know that they do these things for a reason. But if it was that obvious for us to know that this is how they thrive, this is how you can take them out of the game, and we did it maybe to the best of our ability in the first half, but the fact that we couldn't continue that into the second half is quite concerning.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more, Jack. Premier Hotspur TV, big up, Simon. I hope things are well with you, my man. Good to see you back streaming and everything else, and the same with Matt beside you. Keep it going, my man. He says, evening, Mr. Harris and Jack. Man, you don't have to call me Mr. Harris, man. You can call me, shithead, shithouse, whatever you want, man, or even just call me David. Mr. Harris is too polite, but I appreciate it. As I see it, that you can have any manager in charge of this team and nothing will change until Levy and Enoch get out of this club. End of. Look, fair comment. Look, me and Jack were talking about that at the start, my man. Like, look, at the end of the day, we could get Nuno out tomorrow, but unless they're going to spend the money that's required to get in someone like a Conte who will, in my opinion, can change this team into something. Going forward, a Pochettino coming back, okay, they will need a bit of investment to get some of the players they like in, but they can definitely do something. It's just about, look, so I don't know whether you agree, Simon, just let me know. I'm not even going to waffle on for too much longer, but I think we're kind of getting back to the Martin Yol sort of era, in my opinion. I don't know where you think we're at right now, Mr. Premier Hotspur TV, but let me know. Look, that's what I'm thinking, and look, I agree with you. Look, there's only select few managers that you think might be able to change the outcome of things like a Pochettino or Conte. But outside of that, your comment is 100% correct, my man. Really appreciate the support. Dark Sun G says Chelsea had time to practice with each other, so they had teamwork. We need time for our best 11, for example. Emerson, second game, first game with QT, Lo Celso, and Son. What I will say is, look, as soon as Thomas Tuchel came in, he started yielding results. To be fair to the guy, he completely changed Chelsea's fortunes just like that and went on and won them a Champions League. Again, look, he's a Spurs fan. He was making noises to come to Tottenham, and we didn't take him. This guy's actually a Spurs fan. He was a Spurs fan as a kid growing up. So, look, hopefully we can get him to the club at some stage in his career. Look, I agree. We do need time. We do need time. I'm just not 100% convinced right now. Even if we do give them time, we will see much better. Look, like I said, Dark Sun G, I'm just that I think in one thing and then I'm answering it here. And it's just kind of balancing out. And honestly, that's where I'm at. I'm just so confused over the whole thing right now. But look, of course, you have to give all these players time to settle at the club. Of course you do. But unfortunately, just where we are, and it is down to Levy and Enoch that people are getting restless. They don't want to give too much time anymore. And I don't blame them. I do not blame them. That's the thing. You know what I mean? I do not blame them, but I agree.
Hard part, Dave. Yeah,
once we kind of get over it, swallow it, accept where we are, accept reality, then you do give them time, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate it, my man. Jack, anything you want to say, Dark Sun G?
I would say Dark Sun G, he probably feels a similar way that I do. I just feel like, some of the slander that I've seen, towards, the players like Emerson, players like Romero, it just feels so dramatically unfair considering how long we put up with the likes of Ben Davies, how long we put up with the likes of Easy Pass, how long we put up with the likes of Moon Boots and whatnot. It feels like we've given those guys a million chances. And then the one time that we have a losing game with Emerson or Cuti Romero in the side, we're all of a sudden saying they're not good enough. They're not good enough. And to be honest, some of those players, I would say, actually were our best players, especially Emerson. I would say, at least, maybe going forward, he wasn't maybe as good as we wanted him to be. But I think he proved some of the stats that, we brought about him right. I think that guy does get stuck in. I think Emerson does know how to get stuck in. He puts in great tackles at moments. He actually had a fantastic block that, in my opinion, Dave, saved a goal, from Chelsea as well. So it does just show, like, sometimes when we do rip into some of these players, maybe it's just because of the fan base. We're all very reactionary. But I would say, we need to give players like Emerson and Romero, players that, again, are all under the age of 24, are all under the age of 23. They're supposed to be huge talents for the future. And all of a sudden we're saying they're not good enough. They're not good enough. It's like, well, they have as much time, they have till the age of Moon Boots. They have till the age of Toby, to be able to, prove their potential. Not saying we should wait that long. By no means am I saying we should wait that long. But I would say, like, we are ripping into certain players a bit too soon, especially some of our new signings, just because I think they actually, even in certain games, were even better than, the rest of the players,
I'm not ripping into any
Emerson.
new signings. I'm not ripping into any of the new signings whatsoever.
I know, but that's even the problem. I'm not saying it's a problem with the fan base, Dave, but I just think it's a problem maybe of how, as Spurs fans, sometimes we see ourselves as like, we want the immediate results. We want the immediate, kind of I don't know. We just want like a Van Dijk or like a Varane just to come into the side and just be an instant impact and everything. And to be honest, I don't think we're capable of that at the moment. And maybe that's a bit sad, to put it that way. But in my opinion, like a lot of people are saying, I think Emerson did great. I think Romero maybe proved himself in this match to a degree. And I'm honestly looking forward to them more. As much as this was painful, I think they actually held their head high. And I think they should hold their heads high, because I think they were actually, at least defensively, some of the best that we had in this game. And again, it's maybe not a high bar, probably not a high bar at all, but I would say they should be the ones that should probably hold their heads a bit higher than the rest of these players.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Dark Sun G, I know, would probably feel a bit the same way, but as maybe people are saying, Dark Sun G, you're absolutely the voice of the people. You're the voice of the Harris Army. Yeah, you're the most reasonable one there is. You're the most reasonable one there is, Dark Sun G. We absolutely love you.
Yeah. Big Papa saying Dark Sun G is the voice of reason. Big up, Dark Sun G. You definitely are. I appreciate the support, guys. 180 people watching right now. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. Smashing that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And feel free to get your super chats in and jump to the very, very top of the queue in terms of the chat when it is absolutely popping off the way it is today. a lot of disgruntled Spurs fans. William McKenzie says, unlucky today, guys. I thought the home support was shite. That's just me. I'm watching it on telly and the atmosphere wasn't good from our crowd, in my opinion. First of all, I meant to ask you, William, you're the guy that had a cup game coming up a couple of weeks ago and forgot to get back to you and ask you,
right,
how did you get on? So do let me know how you got in your cup game, Mr. McKenzie. I do want to know. And yeah, look,
we're not able to listen to the, we're not able to listen to the atmospheres, which I will say is something I really do. Obviously, as an American, I will say I've never had, the privilege or the opportunity to, be born or conceived in England, to be able to watch the games. But I've also never, had the opportunity or the financial ability to be able to go to England and watch a game as well. So I would say, and it's for these watch alongs, we have to mute it because we're trying to, listen to each other. And so I wasn't able to listen to the atmosphere today. So William McKenzie, if you're saying that the atmosphere wasn't very good, I am quite surprised because it felt like maybe in the first half, it was pretty good. They got the dub, Dave. They got the dub.
I love it. Big up, William McKenzie. I don't forget. Sometimes I forget in the moment, but in the long run, I never forget. Don't worry about that, William. My bad. William Kelly says, opinions on what makes this show great. And also Jack and David. Honestly, man, look, when I started this whole YouTube crack, I would have been delighted with 15 people listening to me. You know what I mean? And the fact that so many people really enjoy what me and Jack are doing out here, you have no idea the confidence it gives us to keep going, keep producing new shows. Even when times are getting tough, the confidence it gives us to keep saying, no, we are doing the right thing, and everything else. It's really important. So a massive thank you for that, William Kelly. I really appreciate it. And look, one thing I always wanted to do was give everyone the chance to give their opinions and spark and create healthy debate. Sometimes it can get a bit, furious, but that's what we want. That's what we want. And that was the whole idea behind this channel. And, what the channel was grown on as well. So I'm absolutely delighted you're enjoying it, William Kelly. And thank you so much, Jack. He's praising you, of course, as well. Do you want to say anything to
William Kelly? We really do appreciate it. Maybe like David said, as much as maybe sometimes David and I might agree with each other, as much as then again, David and I do disagree with each other at times as well. Believe me, especially over FIFA, we definitely do, William Kelly. But I will tell you, I really do appreciate that. We're trying to have, we're trying to have the best debates we can. Of course, this is, a channel that is definitely known for its debates. We've always tried to pick the best panels, to give you those very informed opinions, but as well as those opinions that maybe stir the water a little bit as well, William Kelly. We don't like to, just agree with each other all the time. We try to make everything a bit kind of diversified in that regard. So we do appreciate, maybe you recognizing that, William Kelly, but as well, we also do love, you, William Kelly. Believe me, people like you is what make the Harris Army as well. It's not just David and I. It's absolutely the Harris Army. It's, it's Dark Sun G to Kuva 99, to Chris, to Shamu. I mean, the list is absolutely endless. Nigel Gates here, popping in. The list is absolutely endless. The Harris Army is the biggest, strongest family there is. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, Dave, Harris Army, you guys could get a, you get a bill passed in Congress. Believe me, you get a bill passed in Congress, even if, there is the biggest, baddest, meanest president, in the USA, you guys would somehow be able to get it done. And that's the power of the Harris Army. And that is for a reason. That is for a reason. It has nothing to do with David and I. It has to do with you guys. It has to do with you guys, because you guys are absolutely unbelievable. You always give your opinions. And as well, I think Darius has brought this up before. The intelligence of the Harris Army, they put somehow they're able to put, Dave, like in like 2 sentences, they don't need a paragraph. They're able to put, something that you could write a whole essay on. They could put it in format in 2 sentences. It's unbelievable. The Harris Army, like I've said a million times, is the most intelligent fan base there is. And one of them I'd like to welcome into the building, as always, is Paro Miguel Escobedo. He's just said he just got home. So Paro Miguel, hope you're keeping well. Absolute legend. Absolute legend. But a million other legends in the building as well. A million other legends in the building, as always. But we just like to say, as much as maybe we love these shows and doing these shows, you guys make more than half of it, the Harris Army. Believe that.
Look, I'm going to keep saying this, and I know I'm going to keep saying it till they're sick of that, to be honest with you, Jack. But everything we do, right, we can sit here during the week, ring each other, Jack, plan the content, put structure to the content, get the thumbnails made, get the guests in place, go off and find stats and do the very best we can to put shows together. Go off and buy the likes of the tactics board and all that sort of stuff. Source it all put it together to create shows. And we can have all the ideas we want. But at the end of the day, it's never, ever executed unless you guys are the ones tuning in. You guys hold the key to this whole thing.
Right.
To mine and Jack's success, to anyone's success on YouTube or anybody. You guys, the fans, are the ones that hold the key to everything. And never, ever, ever forget that, or don't let anybody ever tell you that. It's the opposite. Without you guys tuning in, supporting Jack the way you do, sharing our streams, coming into the live chat, which is so important, putting in your comments, viewing in, smashing the like button, subscribing, putting the comments in on the channel, telling everyone, all your friends and whoever else to listen to you, watch these guys, the super chats. You guys hold the key to the whole success of anybody that does any of this sort of stuff. And just remember that. And I'll never, ever forget that. And that's for sure. And that's why anyone that ever want to have a chat with me, all of mine and Jack's stuff is in the comments below. Email us. Anyone that's already done it or gets in contact, we will always get back to you. And no one can ever say we haven't. So if you ever do want to have a conversation with us or anything else, just get in the comment section and or even into our emails and everything and let us know. But big up, everybody. Just make sure, remember, you guys hold the key. At the end of every show, I'm going to say who holds the key. And I want to say everybody in the comments saying we do. That's a new thing we're going to add to these. Just so you know, every single day, I'm going to remind you. Kurt Harriman says, for all the hard work, peace. My man, too kind. I really, really do appreciate that, Kurt. But thank you for tuning in, my man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the support. And thank you for the kind words, my man. Really, really appreciate it, Kurt. Jack, do you want to extend your appreciation to Kurt?
I got to express my appreciation for Kurt. You can tell he's just somebody that's just been maybe watching, from behind, Dave, and it's just maybe needed, shows like this in order to maybe, help him understand maybe the games or as well, even just the Harris Army, like we were just bigging up, David. The Harris Army is that community that allows a lot of people express their opinions, express their feelings towards the game, maybe give a bit of that raw emotion. I would say definitely this channel is more of that raw emotion as well at times. So, but Kurt, we really do appreciate you. I mean, honestly, unbelievable generosity, Kurt. Unbelievable that we really do appreciate moments like, that Kurt, just giving us that sort of support is absolutely, believe it. I mean, do believe it. This is what keeps David and I going, is just to know that we are satisfying, even if it's a small few to a huge few, to a huge population as well, which is the Harris Army. We just like to know that, it is getting through to some people. We do like to know that, it is helping people. We do like to know that this is like a home or a community, you might say, Dave, for people to be able to, feel like, this is their Spurs home. This is their Coys home. So Kurt as well. That dog that you have is your profile picture. He almost looks like a fox to a degree. Yeah, whatever that dog is, I would say, believe me, especially being alone here, or not really alone. I do have the missus, so maybe before she, gets into me for that. But I would say, Kurt, I would absolutely love to have an adorable dog like that to cuddle with right now. Believe me, because that's the type of emotional therapy that I need right now. Just a nice little, boxer hound or something like that, just to snuggle with up at night, just to know that everything's okay. And I would say, Kurt, honestly, really do appreciate you, as well as the rest of the Harris Army. Dark Sun G, to Kuva99, to Kev Williams, to Shamu, to Chris, and it's stupid, Dave. It's just ridiculous. They're just ridiculous. And I know I'm leaving out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but every time, you guys are too good. And I feel guilty for leaving you all out. And as well, I'm even seeing Sue Smith here. Sue Smith, we really do love and appreciate you, an absolute legend and queen of the Harris Army, of course. Really, everybody. Again, Dave and I were absolutely in the muck. We were in the muck after that watch along. And it's just this enlightening, very debate heavy, as well as just very raw emotion kind of, thoughts and opinions, very thought provoking questions, and everything the Harris Army gives is exactly what motivates Dave and I to go back at it next week. I'll tell you that.
No, 100%. And big up, Kurt, my man. Really appreciate the love, man. You're top man. Now, guys, Shamu here. Look, he's not happy. I'm not too happy. Look, I thought our foot soldiers, our generals in the Flat Cap Army and the Harris Army were better than this. This should already be at over 100 likes. This is one of our best streams in a while. So, guys, make sure you do get this to over 100 likes, guys. Absolutely obliterate the like button. There's no excuses. We have 170 people still tuning in right now at 10 past 11 at night. So, guys, no excuses. Smash that like button. Shamu, you're in charge, my man. So let me know as soon as it's achieved. Big up, Shamu. Dark Sun G says, I hope next international break ruins our rivals. That would be nice. That's for sure, Dark Sun G. Don't worry about that. Look, there's always one team that comes out hammered out in the international break. Hopefully we got our turn over and done with nice and early, my man. And that it's done and dusted, and our rivals do get absolutely hammered. Big up Dax on G, really made me giggle with that one. I appreciate that, lad. Kuva99 says, Jack, we need to just stop slacking and get this channel on 24/7. Do you know what it is, Kuva? Look, believe it or not, right? Me and Jack are only, well, me personally, and Jack maybe less, but I'm only at this like 9 months, going on to 10 months, man. And I'll be honest with you, I came into this knowing nothing about technology, computers, putting thumbnails together. Absolutely technology retarded, my man. To be honest. You know what I mean? I had this bad by up until 3.5K. That's what I was doing everything on. And look, it just takes time to be able to learn how to do more things, to be able to put out more and more shows. To the level of like basically what we are Tottenham TV do and stuff like that. We just don't have the capabilities yet. But look, me and Jack will never stop trying to get there. That's for sure, Kuva. And I can guarantee you that now, my man. Big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate that.
Wow. Kuva, honestly, legend. And believe that we're trying to constantly improve. Even believe this, Kuva, a bit of an inside, because the Harris Army just needs to know that bit of inside rumors, as well for the Harris Army. Even tomorrow, like Mondays for David and I, are that week where we even, especially because it's been a bit hectic week, Dave and I have like a million things that we're going to be telling to each other. Listen, we need to be better at this. We need to do this better. This is how we can improve on this. This is what else we can provide the Harris Army with. I've been pestering David for getting that Instagram up for the Irish Army, for the Harris Army as well. So it's just things like that. Believe me, we try to we're honestly too harsh on each other, but I think it's only as well because we know that you guys need it. And we know that as well, you guys deserve it, is what I would say. You guys deserve it. So we're only trying to constantly improve. And even Mondays, we know we do the fan show that day, but before all the fan show stuff, before all the fan show content, Dave and I are practically grilling into each other, saying, listen, we could do this better next time. We can improve stats with Jack this way next time. We need to do this way on flatcapeurotalk. We do this and that. Believe me, we're trying to constantly improve.
No, absolutely 100%. And look, we'll just run through a few comments here. Zanuska Ramshunder. Look,
what a great name and great pronunciation, Dave.
Look, I'll be honest with you, Jack. I get away with it in an Irish accent. Every pronunciation sounds good in Irish accent, but I could be completely butchering the name.
Great name, too. Great name.
Zanuska, let me know how I do pronounce it. Please do. But she says, you're putting in the effort, and that's what the fans want. Only just started watching, but been loving your content. And look, I really, really do appreciate that. And I hope that new fans coming in are enjoying the content and everything else, because we do have a lot of fan base who've probably been here from the early days. And, so I hope you guys that are new are coming in and really enjoying the content. And Zanuska, I really, really appreciate your support. Very valued. And I hope to have it going forward as well for a long time, hopefully for the next 20 years.
Beautiful name, I will say. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful name, Zanuska.
100%. Tottenham Tantrum says, get the likes in Harris Army ready for the week. Let's win. Come on, you Spurs. Big guys. Big up you guys, both legends in my eyes. Big up, brother. Big yourself up, Dermot. Everyone, get over and check out Tottenham Tantrum on YouTube and Twitter, guys. Paul Redfield says, love the Poch era. Even though we didn't win anything, we went unbeaten at home at the old White Hart Lane, and we got the Champions League final. It was great times, entertaining times, great football. Kuva99 says, I can genuinely say that I've enjoyed watching the channel grow. I remember it being under 1K subs. Big up, Kuva, my man. I really, really appreciate that. These comments are really cheering me up, guys. Keep them coming in. Look, usually I get Dave is a shit house, Dave is a shithead. It's nice to get all the nice comments in. Keep them coming. You're making me blush here. You're making me blush. I'm smiling that much. It looks like my eyes are closed. Kevin says, whatever happens to the Arsenal, you have to attack it from the start to finish. 100%. Stuart Davison, he says, guys, people got lives, lad. I know they do. But look, we look, they enjoy tuning in, my man. He says, Jose took our love away from the attacking football, that's for sure. Shamu says, come on, lads, you heard the general. 12 more likes. 162 Harris Army soldiers. Let's go. Big yourself up, Shamu. Of course, let me know as soon as it's done. Shamu is the general, guys, so make sure you do fall in line.
He's absolutely, he's the Admiral, Dave. He's the Admiral.
No, 100%.
The Navy, the Harris Army Navy.
No, 100%. Dark Sun G says, so they know our pain and loss of momentum. Gooners. Yeah, 100%, Dark Sun G. 100%, my man. I couldn't agree more. Big yourself up. Shamu says 11 more Harris Army. That is easy. The final push. La General is waiting for the info to come in. Big up, Shamu. Really appreciate it. Jack, JC. And look, Jack, we answer most questions here. We're not going to hide away from it. He says, hey, Jack, everything could go on solo. JC, do you think Jack should go solo? Let us know in the comments, man. Let us know. Do you not enjoy me and Jack? Do you think Jack should get away from me? Do let us know.
JC, I absolutely believe this. I could never do it on my own, especially when it comes to Spurs. I absolutely depend on David. I couldn't tell you how much I depend on David when it comes to Spurs. I just maybe add that bit of maybe difference to David. I would say almost it's a bit of Batman and Robin. It's a bit of yin and yang. We actually just go about even talking about Spurs, thinking about Spurs in actually quite different ways. And if I were to do it on my own, believe me, I don't think we would have the support, that maybe we've already received, especially the support that David's already earned on his own, JC. So I will say, I've only been very lucky to be a part of it in these last, I would say 3 or 4 months. I think it's now been about 4 or 5 months as well. So I would say, JC, believe it, that's what Flat Cap Hero Talk to a degree is for, but it's also even still our second channel. And I still can barely do that channel alone on my own. We absolutely, I depend on David, JC. And so when it comes to Spurs, I absolutely depend on him. Maybe when it comes to providing, the Flat Cap Hero Euro Talk content, I can usually do, sometimes it's like an itch video or a bit of, like a Kim Min Jae scout report or whatever. Sometimes I can do that stuff on my own. I will say, JC, but believe me, I absolutely depend on David in every way. And in no way am I thinking about ever doing it solo. Maybe that's what Flat Cap Hero Talk to a degree is. I can't even say it that way because in no way am I doing it solo over there either. So JC, you're just going to have to be stuck with the both of us. Maybe if you want to just see me, just go over to Flat Cap Hero Talk for certain videos that I do on my own over there. But JC, really do appreciate it.
JC thinks I'm holding Jack back, I'd say. Big up, JC.
Believe me, JC.
I really appreciate that, my man.
If I myself on a watch along, I can tell, how much I'm missing the brother, Anytime David says he's going for a drink or just going over to the Jack, I'll tell you that I'm already missing him, even if he's only a minute away.
No, big up, JC. No, I love the question, though. Look, we don't hide away from it. We will answer your questions. Don't worry about that. But JC, honestly, put it in. Just let me know, my man. Let me know. Old Soul 53 said, this channel is my therapy. At the end of the day, we must persevere and work through this bad spell. Couldn't agree more, my man. And look, guys, another reason to smash and subscribe on this channel. If this channel is good enough for the best duo in the business, we are Tottenham TV, well, then it's got to be good enough for you guys. By the way, Ben and Sim, keeping an eye on the channel while you were gone. The two boys, John and Josh King today.
Wow, they killed it today.
Brilliant. Absolutely killed it. Absolutely smashed it. There was loads of people in the fan show all wanted to come on and have their say. Absolute brilliant from the two guys. And guys, I know the result didn't go our way, but I hope you guys enjoyed your day out. It's good to see the two of you getting back into the stadium. As much as we love seeing you in the studio, it only feels right to see you at what would say your first home, your real home, which is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So good to see you out there enjoying the games again. He says, much love today, Jack and David. The coach was the difference today. Tuchel proved today why he is elite. Look, my man, 100%, me and Jack were saying that earlier. He made the change, but he had the bollocks to make the change. He doesn't care who you are. If he sees something's wrong, he'll take you off and bring on the next person and fix it. And it's crucial that we have a manager in future that knows how to do this. Because, look, for me, as soon as we went one down, that's when the changes should have been made. Not till we went 2 down. Us Spurs fans have seen it time and time again, especially over the last couple of years. You go 1 down, the heads drop. That's when you need to infect the game and inject a fresh bit of enthusiasm. But even maybe adapt the tactics slightly. He could see we were getting absolutely caned. After 17 minutes when the second goal went in, the game was completely done and dusted and over. That cannot be allowed to happen. I couldn't agree more. Tuchel proved why he is elite. And this is a guy that loves Tottenham. He's a Spurs fan. Why is he not in the dugout? If he's this good and everyone knows he's this good, why is he not in the dugout? Well, I think we know the answers for that. And it comes down to that from the very top, I'd say. Mm-hmm. But Jack, look, do you want to say that to We're Tottenham TV? And then we do have a super chat to get to, lad.
Sure. I would say to whoever it is, Ben Simon, Josh, to John, as well as Josh to John, I will say, I was listening in today. Absolutely class job, I will say, by Josh and as well as Mr. Cooper as well. Honestly, unbelievable. Really unbelievable, I would say. like just fantastic analysis, Dave. They also really promoted great questions as well. It really, they put you to the test a bit, Dave, as well.
Yeah.
I know they were saying, like, listen, Dave, I said this, a couple of weeks ago, maybe I enlightened you on it. It really was brilliant. It really was brilliant. But I would say to Ben and Sib, if it's Ben or Sim, I really do.
Benji,
My
I'd say
condolences.
Benji.
Yeah, we really would apologize, Ben, to, maybe what you were witness to today, especially after the first half. You probably were thinking, and I was thinking, we actually had this, not saying had this game in the bag, but I would say we absolutely were thinking that we would get a lot more out of this game than the way we did. So I feel like it probably was a bit of a betrayal. But hope you're keeping well. Really do appreciate the support, as well as you guys even tuning in. It's so honorable to hear you guys tune in as well. Really do appreciate you. And then as well, I would just say, keep your heads up. Maybe we'll get in our own Tuchel in the future, get in our own German mastermind, because I would say maybe final thing is the Germans are starting to become almost like the hipster coaches, Dave. They're coaches that everybody wants. It's kind of the thought process or the school of thought that seems like everybody wants these days. The Germans are kind of the modern attacking football that everybody wants. So maybe in the future we'll find ourselves a Klopp or a Tuchel in the future, to maybe lead the charge. If it isn't Pochettino, we need to find ourselves, some sort of like Nagelsmann or something like that. But definitely, hopefully Levy as well and Enoch will maybe open up their pockets, maybe to sign one of them.
And look, as well, this is why I love these guys, and this is why I fell in love with them from the very start when I started watching YouTube is, look, even way before this, but like even before I had 1,000 subscribers, even before I reached 500 subscribers, actually, these guys came on my channel. Came on it and absolutely made my day. And I've never said this to them, but I was that big fans of them. I was a bit starstruck at first. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was just amazing that they still had the grounding in them, because they are celebrities in terms of the YouTube world, I'd say.
Yeah.
And they had the grounding to come on the channel and still speak to fellow Spurs fans. They don't care how big or small you are. They give everybody type of the day, and it's just a measure to the men they are. And big up Ben and Sima over at We Are Tottenham TV. And guys, anyone that's not, even though I know you all are, but get over there and smash the subscribe button on the channel. The big push.
I get 3 more voice cracks, I get more voice cracks when I'm on their show, Dave. I'm far more nervous when I'm on their show. They're way too kind to us. They're honestly such legends to us, Dave. They've really shown us so much support. So we really do appreciate you, Ben and Sim. Really do appreciate you. No. But I'll tell you, even to this day, I'm still so nervous every single time I come on We Are Tottenham TV. So nervous, just because they're such legends to the whole, Spurs army. Really, to the entire Spurs family. They're kind of like mom and dad, practically, of the Spurs army.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. But look, we'll get through this super chat. Then Zanuska's back. She told me how to pronounce the name, so I'm going to have another crack at it. And then we actually have people in the comments putting in their duos who they think we're like. I'm actually enjoying them. They're actually pretty funny. So we will get a few of them up, and then we will be ending off, and we'll be letting you guys get to bed early. We don't want the wife giving out that you're not up in the morning cutting the grass, or that you're not up in time to get the kids to school, or you're tired going into work. We can't have that, so we will let you go early. But William Kelly with the super chat, big up, my man. Big super chat as well. Really appreciate the love and the support. He says, when I saw Kante coming on, I was worried. Can this manager not see these things and change accordingly? Sadly, I think way out of his depth. If we think we are going to the Gunners and winning, we are sadly mistaken. Well, look, William Kelly, first of all, let me address the last part. I'm still always going to say we are going to the Gunners and winning. Now, look, in my head, I know notoriously, if form goes out the window, Emirates, it's a very tricky place for Tottenham to go. But my heart won't allow me to say that usually. And I will all week be predicting that we're going to go to the Gunners and smash them. And I'm definitely not letting any Spurs fans or any Arsenal fans, know that I'm a wounded animal. I'm still going to put the face on tomorrow, climb out of bed, strap myself, clean myself down, get back for the week, and just not let them Gunners know. And I'm going to absolutely thank them this week. It's just the sort of fan I am. But look, I really would love to see everyone else do the same. It would be good crack. But look, I agree. When I saw, actually, Jack, I said it to you actually at halftime. I says Kante coming in, he's going to change the game for them. We have to be prepared for this. It didn't happen. Straight away, he was just getting on the ball in midfield, driving Chelsea forward, and he changed the game 100%. And look, we didn't adapt, but like the same time, look, we've seen this time and time again. When we go 1-0 down, we can't adapt. We have no one on the pitch that can adapt. We have no real true leaders that stand in there bollocking people and saying, look, I know what you've been told by Nuno, but for the next 5 minutes, you're doing this job. And then you can go back to what you're doing. Just problem solve. It's all we're asking. And we don't seem to have anybody that can do that. And look, is he out of his depth? Look, William, you could very well 100% be right. Me personally, I'm going to give him another 3, 4, 5 games and judge it from there. But you could very well be right. But me, I just want to give him a little bit longer. But there are definitely causes of concern, shall we say. Jack, do you want to say anything to William?
I think against maybe somebody like Thomas Tuchel, Dave, I might admit, as much as I've, even in the past and now kind of even taken a bat, I called Nuno my father, even in front of my own father. I called him my father, especially after the first 3 wins. I said Nuno is my new dad. I'm definitely now taking that back. Probably a bit of egg on my face for that, I will admit, but I will take it. I'm just going to wipe it off clean and, clean and fair. But I would say, yeah, I do think, William, as much as I don't want to agree with you, I do agree with you. I do think he might have been out of his depth, maybe tactically or just in the sense of a, tactical mastermind sense. I think he might have been, maybe a bit outclassed probably by Tuchel. Of course, though, Tuchel does have a lot more at his disposal. You're bringing on practically maybe, last season's, if not the season before, best player in the world. It's not a coincidence that any side Conte walks into, they win a World Cup. They win, a Champions League. They win a lot. They win a Premier League. With Leicester City as well. So you just have to think about it. Maybe Conte to a degree. And I said this to David. He practically is, as much as he isn't the most glamorous player to watch, I would say. Conte practically is the best player in the world because he just seems. It's not a coincidence. It's like Harry Winks, Dave. It's almost the opposite. Harry Winks comes in any side, you're going to lose. Conte comes in any side. It's almost like you're guaranteed a Champions League. You're guaranteed a trophy with Conte on your side. I would say it's the exact opposite effect. So maybe it's not that much of a tactical masterclass to put Conte on your side, but I would actually argue that Tuchel is a very smart guy. I do think he knows what he's doing. I'm going to say that we absolutely still have this Gooners game in the bag. I do think that Nuno is capable of outsmarting Arteta. I mean, for Christ's sake, I don't think Nuno picks up the cones. I think he leaves it to someone else to do it. Arteta seems to every week seem to want to do it himself just because that's the only thing he feels like he has control of over at Emirates as well. It's just the placement of the cones. So I would say, maybe Nuno will still be able to outsmart, the guy, the likes of Arteta. But I do think that Nuno's in-game management has been very poor so far, and especially when it comes to making changes, maybe even acknowledging his own mistakes, in a game tactically, he has struggled with. He really has struggled with. So, William Kelly, I really do agree with you, but I'm not going to go too far yet. I do think he's still capable of totally outsmarting the likes of Mikel.
Well, big up William Kelly. I hope you enjoyed the answers, my man. I really appreciate the support, my man. You're top man, and really, really appreciate it. So look, I'm going to have round 2 here. It says, thank you. You were so close with the pronunciation. It's pronounced Zanushka Ramchunder. Look, that you guys love my name, making me spy so much. Look, I hope I actually got that one right that time. Look, if not, I think we're just going to have to settle for the best I can do there. But I hope I got it right. So that should be Zanushka Ramchunder. Thank you. I appreciate you breaking it down. Really
beautiful name. I will say beautiful name. I mean, even the way it just comes off the tongue, I would say, even the way David, I think the way he did it the first time, I was quite impressed. And then David did it a second time. It sounded even better the second time. So I would say Zanushka. Hopefully I did that right as well. Honestly, I would say fantastic game. One of the better names of the Harris Army. As much as we like to say there's a David Army, and the David is the name of kings. David is the the name of biblical leaders. Leaders of countries. Mm-hmm. I would say Zanushka, you have a beautiful name yourself.
No, fair play. You definitely do. Old Soul 53 has kicked off something here, and it's actually kind of kept me amused as well, I have to say. He says David and Jack equals Butch and Sundance. So look, it's kicked off something. So Kuva says it's Delboy and Rodney. Aaron Dove says Father Ted and Dougal. I hope everyone knows who that is. That's absolutely brilliant. I love that. What else have we got here? Little and Large. People are calling us Little and Large.
True.
What else have we got?
Wild E Coyote and another Wild E Coyote. I would say that, that would put us too similar to each other. I'd probably say I'm the second Wild E Coyote in that case. Jay-Z and Beyonce. Absolutely. Which one's Beyonce, Dave? I think I'm weirdly Jay-Z, which is funny. I think I might be Jay-Z. You might be Beyonce in this case because David is, the one that's actually a bit more famous. David's the one that,
I'm not famous whatsoever. Let me make that clear. I am not famous. I'm just a boy who sits here and does my YouTube.
Yeah. So David is maybe a bit more of that. Maybe I might say a bit more of, somebody that people like to listen to. Maybe somebody people like to, sing along the lyrics to. That's Beyonce, where maybe Jay-Z, comes in with a bit more of the, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'd like to say I'm Jay-Z and David's Beyonce, but David probably wants to be Jay-Z and I'd probably like to be Beyonce. So that just shows.
No, look, I'll happily take Beyonce. Maybe I'm a bit more of the drama queen. Maybe that's why. That's why. But who knows? Who knows? And San says Jack definitely has a pillow with David's face on it. He definitely doesn't. But that is a good Christmas present for Jack. Maybe that is a good Christmas present. That
I would say actually, Sand. I had as a joke. I had as a joke in university. I weirdly had the Zac Efron pillow, that I used to sleep on, in college, and so maybe instead, I could replace it with something like David's face. But I probably need the approval of David first before he did that. But definitely Sand. Love that comment. Unbelievable.
I just want to say, if that is true, that is an absolute disgrace and absolutely shocking. If that is true, that is absolutely shocking. And whoever that person is needs to take a long, hard look at themselves. Absolutely shocking.
Wow.
Wow. JC says, lads, yeah, great work. Compliment each other beautifully, like Crooks and Archibald. So he doesn't want us to split up. JC doesn't want us to split up. Big up, JC. Big up, JC, my man. Any other comparisons people want to get in there?
People are very interested why it had a Zac Efron pillow, which I will say, had a little bit to do with his looks. I had to admit, had a little bit to do with his looks. But then as well, I weirdly had one because the sister David, I needed some pillows to take with me for college. I didn't have a lot of pillowcases, available to me, and one of them was, my sister, my older sister. She had a Zac Efron pillowcase. Just for the crack, David, just for the irony, decided to bring it with me to university. I will say, lots of people found it funny, and I just continue to sleep on it with joy.
Oh, there's some of these comments are absolutely cracking me up. Absolutely cracking me up. Brian Dago says, this is what Daniel Levy is doing to this club. I urge everyone to get the NFL protests and make their voices heard and help cut the money off. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Was there not some today, Brian? Let me know if there was and how you got on.
Might have been canceled because of the Jimmy Greaves thing. Considering maybe the timing, I just feel like the timing might have been poor, which is unfortunate. I would say also too. I mean, I think it's unfortunate. I don't know what I'm saying. It's unfortunate that we had to witness the loss and of the greatest ever Spurs striker. You would say the greatest ever Chelsea striker, one of the greatest ever England strikers, but as well. I know that there was, a protest planned and everything. So, Brian, hopefully you can find the time still to, still reorganize it and whatnot. But I think out of respect and honestly out of class, I think it was very classy. I think it might have been rescheduled, David, if I'm correct. But as well, rest in peace and condolences to Jimmy Greaves. But also, I would say a bit unfortunate that, I think the protests I think they might have been postponed or something. I'm not sure.
No, 100%, 100%. But look, there you are. There you have it, guys. I think we've just come to a natural ending, which has actually been nice. A nice natural ending. Brian saying it was cancelled. No, fair play. That was the right call. Fair play, I have to say. Fair play. Some of these comments are absolutely cracking me up. Look, we're going to end before people get us in trouble. No, look, guys, I have to say, look, this is incredible. You guys
they lifted my spirits, Dave. They lifted my spirits. I don't know how they could have done it. I don't even know if they intended to do it, Dave. I don't even know if they intended to lift our spirits.
No, I don't know if they did, but they definitely did. Look, the Harris Army, the Flat Cap Army, Jack, they're a great, tremendous bunch to be a part. Look, we pick them up when they're down, and they do the same, vice versa. And look, guys, I really appreciate some of the great comments here. Today, absolutely, really enjoyed it. You're really cheering me up, put a smile on my face. But look, like I said, guys, we know today is disappointing. We know it's disappointing. But before I go on to what I was going to say, Jack, where can people find you? People like JC.
Yeah, definitely, JC. I would say, especially if you're looking for maybe something to distract yourself from the Spurs world, as I maybe have even recently said, a bit of the Spurs echo chamber. As much as we know that everything in the world is Spurs, sometimes we maybe do forget that sometimes there's a bit of I would say maybe what I might call it at this rate, Dave, is therapeutic football, is out there. Aesthetic football is out there. And so if you're looking for that aesthetic football, maybe that football that can cheer you up, the bit of those 1-2s, even bit of the same commentary that Dave and I gave during the watch along that maybe isn't is biased towards Spurs or whatnot, you can definitely check David and I out for any of our Champions League content, any of our greater European content. Even the reason I put the title for it is your home for European football. Anything outside of Spurs, it's a neutral ground, especially if maybe you have, I would say, let's say friends, Dave, that, aren't unfortunately Spurs fans. They might be, fans of the scum. They might be fans of the blue scum. They might be fans of, the empty had, and whatnot. So, it just shows that at the end of the day, we can maybe find a neutral ground for, things that, are maybe outside of Spurs. And I would say that place for you would be Flat Cap Euro Talk. It is basically David and I's second channel. It's where we basically come up with content that is a bit outside of Spurs, maybe things that also as well, when we're talking about scout reports on certain players, when we're talking about, anything having to do with, maybe certain games that maybe aren't happening that Spurs aren't a part of or whatnot, definitely head over there, just because it's basically that place for you to cheer yourself up. If you want to continue to listen to me or David, continue to give our nonsense on things, it's definitely the place where you guys can head on over. It's a bit of a neutral ground, like I said before, just a place for you to distract yourself from anything that has to do with Tottenham. If you're really looking for a distraction, I would say look no further than Flat Cap Euro Talk. If you're looking for maybe an explanation on Sheriff FC, that's coming out this week. Kim Min-jae Scout Report is coming next week, which I'm absolutely giddy for at this stage. The Kim Min-jae Scout Report, as well as, I know Adam and plenty of others are, really asking me to come out with the Romanian League watch along, which I just love. They want to watch me, Well, David, I think they know that we like a bit of the two-footed tackles. We like the naughty tackles and whatnot. They like the shithousery. They like the dark arts. We're a fan of the dark arts over here. So I think that's probably what it is. And as well, there's also my weekend watch list I always come out with. And again, Darius and I will always come out with maybe a bit of that very in-depth, very in-depth Champions League content that analyzes how, maybe the Champions League might unfold. I'm actually going to be come up with a 4-part series on maybe who I think will be winning the Champions League this season. So Flat Cap Euro Talk is your place for that neutral ground on football. And as well, it will only have Spurs fans still leading it, Dave. It's not like, fans of other clubs are leading that channel. It's still Spurs fans at the end of the day leading it. It's trusted news source, as you might say, tier 1 news source, Spurs fans. But as well, it's just a bit of that neutral ground, maybe a bit of a place where you can distract yourself from anything that is Tottenham.
100%. And I see Dermot asking, are we doing the watch along on Wednesday for the Wolves game? That we are, my man. So make sure you tune in. It'll be good to see you here, my man. And of course, everybody, here is the link for Flat Cap Euro Talk. Get on it. Get over there and smash that subscribe button. Look, as well, guys, keep telling Jack what you want to see. Keep telling what you want to see.
I loved the Kim Min-jae suggestion. This is the stuff I need. Believe me as well. I'm happy to provide for the Harris Army. Believe me, I'm happy to provide. This is exactly what I wanted to see when they said, Jack, we want to know how Kim Min-jae is doing. We want to know, which players, that maybe we were rumored with. Maybe they want that Dusan Vlahovic, even maybe Scout Report Dave or whatever it may be. Just anything that's outside of Spurs that maybe even is slightly connected to Spurs. Believe me, we'd be happy to provide over there at the second channel.
No, 100%. So guys, do get over there and keep getting your requests in. I love them. They do crack me up and it puts Jack to even more work. So I absolutely love it, guys. But no, honestly, do get over there and check it out. Jack, he's an absolute great YouTube content creator. He helps out massively on this channel. He really has upgraded the quality of the content coming out on this channel since he's come on board as well. So JC, stop trying to, rip Jack away from me. But no, honestly, big up to you, the Harris Army. You really have absolutely cheered me up today, guys. Absolutely cheered me up. Emily Dunn says, great show, lads. Well done. Big up, Emily. I hope things are well. And also 53 says, hashtag Harris Army as well.
Legend.
Legend. And Am says, Jack, can you do a stats rating of managers? No, we definitely will get that.
AMZ, I'm so sad because now I can know Nuno's record against Chelsea is now 2-2-3. That's all I can say. Originally, his record was 2-2-2 against Chelsea. Now it's 2-2-3. So AMZ, Nuno's record against Chelsea is not looking as glamorous as it did before, which is a bit unfortunate. So the stats ranking for managers, I'd be happy to do. Love that. As well as I'm pretty sure he has seen it. AMZ. But if you haven't seen which managers I predict, to get the sack this season, it was my first ever video. a bit raw, kind of still learning a lot from that, original video. But in case you're wondering which managers I originally predicted to get the sack, it's my very first video. And so please check it out.
No, 100%. Kuva says we need a poll on who wears the flat cap the best too. A flat off. Look, what I will say is,
we need more flat caps for that, Dave. We need to do a fashion show.
Yeah, look, I think we'll have to order some in and, wear one every day and, get people's opinions on. But look, what I will say is look, before you could have got a fair poll on me and Jack, but it's half a bloody YouTube now wearing them. The flat caps are taking over. I absolutely love it. But look, guys, enough clowning around from us. We know a lot of you have busy days tomorrow, whether it's school, whether it's college, whether it's work, or whether it's appeasing the missus and keeping her happy, or appeasing the boyfriend and keeping them happy. Whatever it is, we know we have to let you go. But Jiminy is sitting here. He's saying, no, guys, you're not going anywhere. He's saying, new season, same vibe. Feels like we're in limbo all the time. Not as bad as Arsenal, but nowhere near good enough for top 4 at the moment. Do you know what, Jiminy? Yeah, that's a fair comment. That is a fair comment. Look, it does always actually feel like we're in limbo. It definitely does. New season, same vibe. Look, it's a tough one. Like I was explaining earlier, Jiminy, look, you take the first 3 games, you say brilliant. You take the last 2 games, you're thinking same as last season. It's a tough position to be in. I hope it's not the same vibe. But look, only time will tell, my man. And look, we'll never be as bad as Arsenal. I told them their downfall was coming. They didn't want to listen to me. They kept on wanting to see what Spurs are doing. Took their eyes off their own club. Now they're sitting there crying like little overgrown man children. And it's absolutely brilliant. I sit there with my tub of Ben & Jerry's and I'm like, this Ben & Jerry's tastes better today. I wonder why. Because Arsenal lost and I'm watching them cry again. Their tears bring that extra bit of sugar that I need in my Ben & Jerry's. So I absolutely love it. We'll never be as bad as them scum, that's for sure. And look, not good enough for top 4. Yeah, probably spot on there, my man. Probably spot on. Jack, anything you want to say to Jiminy before we head off?
No, Jiminy, sorry, excuse me. I hope you're keeping well. Hope everything is all right, maybe despite, the result today. Hope everything's all good with the family.
Yeah.
Hope everything is all good with you, Jiminy, as well. Maybe you might find, maybe like David has said, maybe there is that, Ben & Jerry's maybe hiding in the freezer, maybe that you've been saving, maybe for a night like this, maybe just to cry into, I would say, but hopefully even maybe tears of joy as well, just because that, maybe next week you're going to be celebrating that, scum win. So hopefully, like I said, everybody, they can just maybe use tonight, Dave and Jiminy, use tonight as a bit of an emotional night, bit of a raw night, in terms of how, you feel about it. I feel like any emotion you feel after today is a perfectly normal emotion. Any sort of reaction you might have today is a perfectly normal reaction. But just make sure that tomorrow by Monday, when you show up to work or wherever you are, maybe you just know that you're saving your best banter for the scum. You're saving your best banter, your best face, just saving face so you don't let those Arsenal scum, get the best of you, because, we have to save our best as fans for the upcoming win this coming next week. So all I can say is use tonight, everybody, is your most emotional night, and then maybe save yourself, as maybe we say, save face for the Arsenal scum, because we're going to have to keep it up in order to make them not take advantage of maybe these tears.
No, 100%, 100%. And Jiminy says, big uplift. Thank you, Jack. Really appreciate that, Jiminy. Well, look, guys, much echo like what Jack was saying, guys. Look, we take it on the chin. We dust ourselves down, pick ourselves up. Tomorrow, we put on the guard and the shields again, and we go out and absolutely ram it down them Arsenal fans' throat. North London Derby week, baby. This is what we live for. Chelsea was always going to be a tough ask. Let's get back together and let's absolutely spank them all this week. The fans all over social media, all over YouTube. Let's give them a spanking, and then let's turn up to the Emirates and really, finish off the job. Absolutely love it. Look, guys, bad result today, but thank you so much for picking myself and Jack up. Really appreciate it. You're all absolute legends. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Really appreciate everyone liking. Really appreciate everyone, most importantly, getting their comments in. And really appreciate everyone helping this channel with super chats and everything else. We can't keep growing without them. So, guys, big yourselves up. You're all legends. I'm going to see you back here tomorrow for the fan show at 9 p.m. But we will be putting out a live player ratings at some stage during the day for you guys to help us with.
Win or learn, Dave. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.